The time value of money is like this. Would you rather have $100 now or $100 next year? Most people would prefer the money now because they can use or invest it immediately. If someone promises to give you the money later, you probably want more than $100 to make up for the wait. Why it's important: decision making. Helps in deciding between receiving money now or later. Inflation. The buying power of money decreases over time. So $100 might buy less next year than it does today. Opportunity cost. If you have money now, you can invest and earn more money from it. Examples: immediate purchase. With $500 now, you could buy a TV today. Waiting cost. If you wait a year, maybe the TV costs more or isn't available. Or you simply might not want to wait. Interest. If someone wants to give you money later, they might offer $550 next year instead of $500 now. That extra $50 is like a payment for making you wait. This is often seen in bank savings accounts, where the bank pays you interest for keeping your money with them. Pros: investment opportunities. Having money now can allow for immediate investments, potentially increasing wealth. Liquidity. Money now provides flexibility in spending or investing. Protection against inflation. Money's value generally decreases over time. Having it now safeguards its current purchasing power. Cons: impulse spending. Immediate money can lead to unnecessary spending. Lost future opportunities. Might miss out on better future investment opportunities. Tax implications. Earning interest can lead to taxable income. Key terms: interest rate, IRR. This is like a rent for using someone's money. It's a percentage that tells you how much extra you'll get or owe over a time period. Present value, PV. The value of money right now. If someone offers you $500, the PV is $500. Future value, FV. The value of that money in the future. If you're promised $550 next year for a $500 investment today, $550 is the FV. Equation. This formula, FV equals PV, 1 plus REIT, is a way to figure out how much money will be worth in the future given an interest rate and time period. In essence, understanding the time value of money helps make smart financial decisions. Whether saving, investing, or borrowing, it's vital to consider what money is worth over time. The passage explains the importance of understanding the time value of money, TVM, when making financial decisions. Let's break down the importance of each component of TVM as applied in a calculation. Discount rate. This is the rate used to discount future values back to the present. The discount rate reflects the opportunity cost of capital, that is, what you might earn elsewhere with the money. In the bank example, the choice between a 5% and 6% interest rate demonstrates the importance of the discount rate in determining which option provides the best return. Duration. This represents the length of time over which the money is invested or borrowed. The longer the duration, the greater the effect of compound interest and discounting. In both examples provided, duration plays a critical role. In the lottery example, money is received over a 10-year period, and in the bank example, the investment is made for 5 years. Payment refers to the amount of money being discussed, whether it's the cash flow from an investment or the cost of a loan. In the lottery scenario, the payment is the annual sum of $600,000 over 10 years versus the lump sum of $5 million. Present value, PV. This is the value today of a sum of money that is received or paid in the future when discounted at a specific rate. It's a way to determine the worth of future cash flows today. The PV allows for an apples-to-apples comparison between different cash flow options. Future value, FV. This is what a sum of money invested today will be worth in the future, considering a certain interest rate and time period. It illustrates the power of compound interest. The formula FV equals PV, 1 plus I provided in the passage gives a clear mathematical representation of this concept. In summary, understanding the time value of money and its components is crucial in finance because it allows individuals and businesses to make informed decisions regarding investments, loans, and other financial commitments. The TVM concept underscores the fundamental idea that money available now is worth more than the same amount in the future due to its potential earning capacity. By applying the 5 components of TVM in calculations, one can better determine which financial options are most advantageous. Time value of money, TVM. Definition. The idea that a dollar today is worth more than a dollar in the future because of its potential to earn interest or returns. Why is it important? Helps determine the real value of money now versus later. Essential for making sound financial decisions. 5 components of TVM. Discount rate, the interest rate used to bring future amounts of money to today's value. Think of it as the reverse of interest you earn in a bank. Duration, how long the money is invested or borrowed. Payment, cash flows, either incomes or expenditures, occurring over time. Present value, PV, how much a future amount is worth right now. Future value, FV, how much a present amount will be worth in the future after earning interest. Simple examples, lottery win. $5 million now might be better than $6 million over 10 years because you can invest the $5 million now and potentially make more than $1 million in returns over the same period. Bank deposit. Putting $100 in a bank offering 6% interest is better than a bank offering 5% because at 6%, your money grows faster. Pros of understanding TVM. Informed decisions. Allows comparison of financial options to pick the best one. Maximized returns. Helps in selecting investments that give the best return. Risk assessment. Understanding TVM can help in assessing and managing the risks associated with financial decisions. Cons of TVM. Requires assumptions. Calculations often require assumptions about future interest rates which might change. Over-reliance. Relying solely on TVM might ignore other important factors like tax implications or fees. Complexity. Advanced TVM scenarios can become complex and require expertise to understand. In conclusion, time value of money is a cornerstone concept in finance. It helps individuals and businesses make better financial decisions by understanding the worth of money over time. Single period investment simplified. What is it? A single period investment is when you invest money for just one time frame, like a year. Why is it useful? With certain financial details, you can figure out how much your money will grow or shrink after that time period. 5 important components. Discount rate, IRR. This is the interest rate. It tells you how much extra money you'll get or owe based on your original amount. Duration, T or N. This is how long you're investing. For a single period, it's always 1 year. Payment, PMT. For single period investments, this isn't typically used as there's no recurring payment in that year. Present value, PV. This is the money you're starting with. Future value, FV. This is what your money will become after the investment period. How does it work? If you're investing for just 1 year, it's a single period investment. If it's more than 1 year, it's a multi-period investment. For a single period investment, you can use the formula FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I. Here, FV is how much you'll have in the end, PV is how much you're starting with, and I is the interest rate. For example, if you put $100 in a bank for 1 year with a 3% interest rate, you'll have $103 by the end of that year. In short, a single period investment helps you see how much your money can grow in 1 year based on an interest rate. If you know your starting amount, PV, and interest rate, I, you can find out your end amount, FV. Single period investment, what is it? It's investing money for a short time, usually just 1 year. Simple example, you deposit $100 in a bank. After 1 year with a 3% interest rate, you'll have $103. Why is it important? It helps predict how much money you'll have in the future, making it easier to plan and make financial decisions. Key components, interest rate, I, the extra money percentage you earn. Duration, T, how long your money is invested. Here, it's just 1 year. Starting amount, PV, money you first put in. Ending amount, FV, money you'll have at the end. Pros, simplicity, easy to calculate with just 2 variables. Short-term planning, great for quick financial decisions. Cons, limited insight, only useful for 1 year, not long-term planning. Fixed rate, assumes interest rate remains the same, which may not always be the case. In essence, a single period investment tells you how your money grows in a year. Knowing this helps in making informed short-term financial choices. Multi-period investment summary. When dealing with financial data, a person can determine how much money will be worth in the future using calculations on present and future value. This helps in making informed financial decisions. There are important components in these calculations like the discount rate, how long the money is invested, payments, the initial amount, present value, and the expected amount in the future, future value. Investments can be for one or multiple periods. For multi-period investments, there are two main ways to determine the growth of the money. Simple interest. The interest earned is only based on the original amount, principal, and doesn't consider any interest that's already been added. Example, a $100 deposit with 5% simple interest will always give you $5 every year regardless of how long you keep it. Compound interest. Interest is calculated on the total account balance, which includes any interest previously earned. Example, a $100 deposit with 5% compound interest will result in $105 the first year. The next year, you earn 5% on $105, not just the initial $100. So you get $5.25, making the new total $110.25, and it keeps growing exponentially. In practice, compound interest is more common because it benefits from the interest on interest effect, making money grow faster over time compared to simple interest. What is it? When you invest money for multiple periods, like several years, it's a multi-period investment. Types of interest. Simple interest. You earn interest only on the original amount, principal, you put in. Compound interest. You earn interest on the total amount, including previous interest earned. Why is it important? Understanding how your investment grows over time helps you make better financial decisions. Key components of TVM, time value of money, discount rate, the interest rate used to figure out the value of future money in today's terms. Duration, how long you're investing the money. Payment, recurring payment in investments like annuities. Present value, PV, money you start with. Future value, FV, money you'll end up with in the future. Pros and cons. Pros of compound interest, higher returns. As your money grows, the interest you earn increases too. Benefit of time. The longer you leave your money, the more it grows. Cons of compound interest, risks. Higher returns also mean higher potential losses in volatile investments. Requires patience. You need to leave your money invested to truly benefit. Pros of simple interest, predictability. You know exactly how much you'll earn every period. Cons of simple interest, lower returns. It doesn't grow as much as compound interest over time. In essence, knowing the difference between simple and compound interest and how they impact multi-period investments is essential for making informed decisions about where and how to invest your money. Compound interest can lead to significant growth over time, but it's important to understand the potential risks and benefits. Finance uses math to help make money decisions. They use 5 things: interest rate, time, payments, current value, and future value. One important concept is future value, which tells you how much money will be worth in the future if it earns interest. For example, if you have $500 now and it grows at 7% per year, in 10 years, it will be $983.58. This helps you plan for the future. Importance, planning. It helps you plan how much your money will grow or shrink over time. Investing. It guides investment decisions by showing potential returns. Loans. Helps you understand how much you'll owe on loans. Pros. Informed decisions. You can make informed financial decisions. Investment. It helps you choose the best investment options. Budgeting. Useful for budgeting and saving. Cons. Assumptions. It assumes constant interest rates, which may not be realistic. Complexity. Can be complex for some financial situations. Risk. Doesn't consider investment risk. In simple terms, understanding future and present value helps you make smart money choices, but it has limitations and may not cover all situations. Simple explanation. Imagine you have some money and you want to know how much it will grow or shrink over time with interest. You also want to know how much money you should have today to reach a specific goal in the future. To do this, you need to consider things like the interest rate, how long you'll keep the money, and whether you'll add or take out money regularly. Examples: future value. If you have $500 now and put it in a savings account that gives you 7% interest every year, in 10 years, you'll have $983.58. Different interest. But if you put the same $500 in an account that gives 1% interest every month for 10 years, you'll have $1,650.19. Why it's important. Financial planning. It helps you plan for your financial future. You can figure out how much money you'll have for things like retirement or buying a house. Smart Decisions. It helps you make informed decisions about loans, investments, and savings. You can choose the best options to grow your money. Pros. Informed choices. You can make decisions based on actual calculations, not guesses. Financial goals. It helps you set and achieve your financial goals. Cons. Complexity. It can get complicated with different interest rates, time frames, and payments. Assumptions. Calculations are based on assumptions like compound interest unless specified, so real-world results may vary. In a nutshell, understanding these financial calculations is like having a financial crystal ball. It helps you see into the future of your money and make wise choices. When we talk about the value of money, we often want to know how much it will be worth in the future. This concept is known as the future value FV. To calculate this, we consider several things. What are we doing? Calculating how much a certain amount of money will be worth in the future based on interest rates and time. This is called finding the future value, FV. Why? So that we can make informed financial decisions, understanding how our money will grow or how much we'll owe. Components of time value of money, TVM. Present value, PV. The money you have now. Interest rate, the rate at which your money grows. Number of periods, how many times the interest is applied. Duration, the total time for which interest is applied. Payment, regular amounts added or subtracted, not deeply covered here. Important concepts, the period of interest application, like annually or quarterly, should match with the interest rate, EG, 3% per quarter or 5% per year. Quarter means every 3 months. Types of interest, compound interest, money grows by a percentage, and even the grown amount grows further. Simple interest, money only grows based on the initial amount, not including the added interest. Example explained simply, you take a loan of $5,000 in July 2014. This loan grows by 3% every quarter, or 3 months. Now, by January 2017, you want to see how much this loan has grown. Since July 2014 to January 2017 is 2.5 years or 10 quarters, you'll calculate its value over these 10 quarters using the compound interest method. Result, $6,719.58. In January 2015, you take another loan of $5,000. This loan grows at 5% every year. By January 2017, 2 years have passed, so you'll calculate its growth over these 2 years, but using the simple interest method. Result, $5,500. Now, if you combine these two amounts to see how much you owe in total like January 2017, it's $12,219.58. Why is this useful? It helps us understand our financial commitments in the future and plan accordingly. Knowing how much you owe or how much your investment will grow can help in making better financial decisions. Important to remember, make sure the interest rate and the time period match. For instance, if the interest rate is quarterly, the time should be in quarters too. The interest can be simple, only on the original amount, or compound, interest on the original amount plus interest earned. Simple explanation. When you want to make a financial decision, like taking a loan or investing money, you need to know how much that money will be worth in the future. To do this, you consider things like how long you'll keep the money, the interest rate, and whether it's simple or compound interest. Example, let's say you borrow $5,000 on July 1, 2014, and another $5,000 on January 1, 2015. The first loan has 3% interest every 3 months, and the second has 5% interest per year. You want to know how much both loans will be worth on January 1, 2017. Why it's important, smart planning. It helps you make wise financial choices. You can plan how much money you'll have in the future for things like paying back loans or saving for goals. Understanding loans. You can figure out how much you'll owe on loans and if it's a good deal. Pros. Informed decisions. You can make financial decisions based on real numbers, not guesses. Financial goal setting. It helps you set and achieve your financial goals. Cons. Complexity. It can be a bit complicated, especially with different types of interest and time frames. Assumptions. Calculations are based on some assumptions, like compound interest unless specified, so real-world results may differ. In this example, you found that the total value of the loans in 2017 is $12,219.58. This helps you plan for paying off your debts or managing your investments. It's like having a financial crystal ball. Determine the value of money now and in the future to help make financial decisions. Time value of money, TVM. This concept means money today is more valuable than the same amount in the future due to its potential earning capacity. 5 key components: discount rate/interest rate. What it costs to use money or the reward for saving it. For example, 3% means you'd be willing to pay 3% extra to have the money now instead of waiting a year. Duration/number of periods, HAN. How long the interest applies. This could be days, months, or years. Payment, not highlighted in this context. Present value, PV. The value of money today. Future value, FV. The value of that same money in the future after interest. Single period investment. An investment for just one duration, like 1 year. To determine the present value, what it's worth now, you need to know the future value, what it'll be worth later, the interest rate, and the number of periods. If the investment is only for a single period, the PV is found by dividing the FV by 1 plus interest rate. Example, imagine you'll receive $110 in a year's time. If the interest rate is 10%, the present value, what it's worth today, would be $100 because you could invest $100 now and have $110 in a year. In essence, understanding the time value of money lets you determine what a future sum of money is worth today, helping in better financial planning. Simple explanation: when you have money, you can use it now or later, but money you get in the future is not as valuable as money you have today. So you need to understand how much money in the future is worth compared to money now. This helps with decisions like investing or taking loans. Example, imagine you have $100 and you could either spend it now or invest it for a year. If the interest rate is 3%, it means you'd be willing to pay $3 to have that $100 a year sooner. So the value of that $100 now is $97. Why it's important: wise choices. It helps you make smart financial decisions. You can decide whether it's better to have money now or wait for more in the future. Understanding investments. It's essential for investments and loans. You can figure out how much your money will grow or how much you'll owe. Pros. Informed decisions. You can make financial choices based on real calculations, not guesses. Goal setting. It helps you plan and achieve your financial goals. Cons. Complexity. It can get tricky with different interest rates and time periods. Assumptions. Calculations rely on some assumptions, like compound interest, so real results may vary. In this context, when you think about a single chunk of money, like the $100, you can calculate how much it's worth today compared to the future. This helps you decide whether to use or invest your money wisely. It's like having a money time machine. Use financial data to figure out how much money will be worth now and in the future to make good financial decisions. Time value of money, TVM. Money now is better than the same amount later. This is because of missed opportunities, like earning more money from investments. 5 components for calculating TVM. Discount rate/interest rate, the extra percentage you earn or pay over time. Duration/number of periods, how long the money is invested or borrowed for. Payment, not focused on in this explanation. Present value, PV, how much money is worth now. Future value, FV, how much that money will be worth later. Single period versus multi-period investments. Single period investments, simple and just for a short time, like 1 year. Formula: future value, what it will be worth, equals present value, what it is worth now, x, 1 plus interest rate. Multi-period investments, investments over a longer time, where the interest grows because it's applied to a bigger amount each time, thanks to the previous interest. This is called compound interest. Interest is calculated on the initial amount and also on the accumulated interest. Formula: future value equals present value x, 1 plus interest rate, raised to the number of periods. It's good to know the average return over the life of the investment because it helps in comparing different opportunities. Visualization: a graph showed that if you're looking 100 years ahead, the value of $1,000 decreases a lot more with higher interest rates. For instance, at 7% interest, $1,000 becomes practically worthless in 75 years. In short, understanding the time value of money helps us know the real value of money over time, whether we're looking at 1 year or multiple years. It helps us make better investment choices. Simple explanation: money you have today is more valuable than the same amount in the future because you can use it now or invest it. So, when making financial decisions, you need to understand how money grows or shrinks over time. Example: imagine you have $100 and you could either use it now or invest it for a year. If the interest rate is 3%, it means you'd be willing to pay $3 to have that $100 a year sooner. So the value of that $100 now is $97. Why it's important: smart decisions. It helps you make wise financial choices. You can decide whether it's better to have money now or later. Investment understanding, essential for investments and loans. You can figure out how much your money will grow or how much you'll owe. Pros: informed choices. You can make financial decisions based on real calculations, not guesses. Goal setting. It helps you plan and achieve your financial goals. Cons: complexity. It can get tricky with different interest rates and time periods. Assumptions. Calculations rely on some assumptions, like compound interest, so real results may differ. When you think about money's value changing over time, it helps you make better financial decisions. It's like having a money time machine that shows you how your money will change in the future. Time value of money, TVM. Components. When making financial calculations, you need to consider 5 important parts. Discount rate, the rate used to find out what future money is worth today. Duration, how long you're looking at for your money. Payment, how much money is being talked about. Present value, PV, the value of money right now. Future value, FV, how much that money will be worth after some time. What is discount rate? Discounting means figuring out the value of future money in today's terms. The discount rate takes into account different costs to the person lending or investing money. These costs include opportunity cost, the what-if cost. What could you have done with the money if you hadn't lent or invested it? Inflation. Over time, the value of money goes down, meaning things become more expensive. This is a cost because the money you get back later might not buy as much as it could have today. Risk. The chance that you might not get your money back. Liquidity. The ability to easily use your money. If it's tied up in an investment, you can't spend it elsewhere. Banks and lenders use the discount rate to decide loan terms. How does discount rate work with PV? To find out the present value or what money is worth today, you use the discount rate. For instance, if you know you'll get $1,000 next year and the discount rate is 5%, that money is worth $952.38 to you today. This is because of the costs mentioned above. The higher the discount rate, the less the future money is worth now. In short, the discount rate helps us understand the true value of future money in today's terms by accounting for various costs. The 5 components of time value of money, TVM, are essential for making smart financial decisions. Discount rate. This represents the cost to the investor or creditor for waiting to receive money in the future. It includes costs like opportunity cost, inflation, risk, and loss of liquidity. Essentially, it's the interest rate used to find out what a future sum of money is worth today. Duration. This refers to the length of time over which you're considering the value of money. It's essential because money's value changes over time. $1 today is not the same as $1 in the future. Payment. This is the amount of money you're dealing with, either as an investment or a loan. You need to know how much money you'll receive or pay. Present value, PV. This is the current value of a future sum of money, considering the discount rate. It tells you how much a future amount is worth today. Future value, FV. This is the value of a sum of money at a future point in time, considering the discount rate. It helps you determine how much a present amount will grow to in the future. Why it's important: smart decisions. These components help you make wise financial choices. You can decide whether to invest, take a loan, or spend your money based on calculations. Accurate planning. They allow you to plan for the future by understanding how the value of money changes over time. In simple terms, these components help you answer questions like, how much will my money be worth in the future? Or how much should I invest today to reach a financial goal? Understanding these components is like having a financial compass to guide your decisions. When making financial decisions, it's essential to calculate how much money will be worth in the future. future value or FV, and its current worth, present value or PV. Here are the key ideas. Or how much should I invest today to reach a financial goal? Understanding these components is like having a financial compass to guide your decisions. When making financial decisions, it's essential to calculate how much money will be worth in the future value or FV, and its current worth, present value or PV. Here are the key ideas. Period. It's just a specific length of time. It could be a month, year, or even a decade. What's crucial is that it's clear and doesn't change during the investment. Number of periods N. This tells us how many of these time lengths there are. If the period is a year and your investment lasts 5 years, then N is 5. Discount rate and periods. The discount rate, interest rate, must match the period. So, if your period is 1 year, the discount rate should be for a year, like 5% per year. If it's a month, the rate should be for a month. Future value FV calculation. It's a formula that uses the present value, the interest rate, and the number of periods to tell you how much your money will be worth in the future. Basically, PV, the money you start with, times a factor that accounts for interest in time. Simple versus compound interest, simple interest. If you earn a set amount of interest, say $30, in one period, you'll earn the same in all other periods. So over 5 periods, you'd earn 5 times $30. Compound interest. This is a bit trickier. The interest you earn in one period will itself earn interest in the next period. So, your money grows faster over time. Relation of time to value. The longer the time or more the periods, the higher the future value will be if the interest rate stays the same. But the present value would be lower in comparison. In short, when figuring out financial stuff, it's essential to understand the time period you're looking at, the interest rate for that time, and whether the interest is simple or compound. This helps decide if an investment is worth it or not. The number of periods is just a fancy way of saying how long you're dealing with when it comes to money. It can be any length of time, like a month, a year, or even a decade, but it has to be clear and fixed. Think of it as a unit of time that helps you figure out the value of money. In finance, the number of periods is super important because it affects how money grows or shrinks over time. If you're dealing with simple interest, you just multiply the number of periods by the interest rate to see how much money you'll make. But if you're dealing with compound interest, things get more exciting. The number of periods affects how money compounds, meaning you earn interest not just on your original money, but also on the interest you've already earned. So, if you have more periods, your money can grow faster. In simple terms, the number of periods helps you understand how long you're in it for when it comes to your money. Whether it's for a short time or a long time, it changes how much your money is worth in the future. So it's a big deal when you're making financial decisions. Number of periods in finance is like measuring time for your money. It's how long you're talking about when you think about cash. But it's not just any time. It's a specific, fixed chunk of time, like a month, a year, or a decade. Here's why it's crucial. Simple example. Imagine you put $100 in a savings account and it gives you 5% interest each year. If you wait for 1 year, one period, you'll have $105 because you earned $5 in interest, 5% of $100. If you wait for 2 years, 2 periods, you'll have $110.25 because you earned interest on both your $100 and the $5 interest from the first year. Importance. Time matters. The number of periods shows how long your money has to grow or shrink. It's like knowing whether you have a sprint or a marathon ahead. Smart planning. It helps you decide when to invest or save based on your goals. More periods could mean more growth. Interest impact. It influences how much interest you earn or pay on your money. Compound interest, where you earn interest on interest, depends on the number of periods. Pros. Earnings. More periods can lead to more interest or growth on your investments. Goal planning. It helps you plan for future financial goals with precision. Cons. Patience. If you're in a hurry, more periods might mean waiting longer for your money to grow. Complexity. Sometimes, dealing with many periods can make financial calculations more complicated. So, understanding the number of periods is like knowing whether you're in a quick sprint or a long-distance race with your money. It guides your financial decisions and impacts how much you'll earn or owe over time. Effective annual rate, EAR, is like a super interest rate that takes into account how often interest is added to your money during the year. It helps you compare different interest rates more easily. Simple example. Imagine you have two savings accounts. One offers 6% interest, compounded monthly 12 times a year, and the other offers 5% interest, compounded quarterly, 4 times a year. The EAR helps you figure out which account gives you more bang for your buck by considering how often interest gets added. Importance: apple-to-apple comparisons. It helps you compare interest rates that compound at different frequencies. This way, you can see which one is truly better. Real earnings. You get to know the actual rate at which your money is growing, considering compounding. It's like understanding your money's true superpower. Smart decisions. You can make informed choices about where to save or invest your money by knowing the real growth rate. Pros: accurate comparison. EAR lets you accurately compare different interest rates, ensuring you choose the best option for your savings. Realistic returns. It gives you a more realistic picture of how your money grows over time. Cons: complex calculations. Calculating EAR can be a bit more complex than just looking at nominal interest rates. Different periods. You need to know how often interest compounds in each investment to use EAR effectively. So, understanding the effective annual rate is like getting the superhero version of your interest rate. It helps you make fair comparisons and ensures you're making the most of your money's growth potential. When we talk about interest rates, there are two kinds to keep in mind. Nominal interest rate. This is the interest rate you commonly see, like 7% per year. But this doesn't always show the full picture. Effective annual rate, EAR. This rate gives a better picture of how much interest you're actually earning or paying in a year, especially when the interest is added up multiple times within that year, like monthly or quarterly. Important points: matching units. To work out future and present values, the time frame, like a year or month, and the interest rate for that time frame need to match. Compounding. Interest can be added to your account multiple times in a year. For instance, 12% compounded monthly doesn't just mean 1% per month for 12 months. Due to compounding, the interest you earn each month also earns interest in the following months. Finding the EAR. There are formulas to calculate EAR, depending on how often interest is added. For example, with 8% interest that's added quarterly, the EAR is slightly more than 8%. Using the EAR. When figuring out how much money you'll have or owe in the future, use the EAR, not the nominal rate. Different compounding periods. If you're trying to figure out how much money you'll have in a certain number of years, but your interest compounds monthly or quarterly, etc., there are formulas to help. They adjust for these different compounding times. Figuring out the number of periods. If you know how much money you started with, how much you want to end up with, and the interest rate, there's a way to find out how many time periods, like years, it'll take. In short, the effective annual rate, EAR, is a more accurate measure of interest for a year, especially when interest is compounded more than once in that year. Using the EAR helps make financial calculations more precise. Effective annual rate, EAR, is like the real deal of interest rates, considering how often your money grows within a year. It's important for comparing and understanding interest rates better. Simple example. Let's say you have two bank accounts. Account A offers 5% interest, compounded quarterly, 4 times a year, and account B offers 6% interest, compounded monthly, 12 times a year. The EAR helps you decide which account is actually giving you more money. Importance: true comparison. It helps you compare apples to apples when interest is compounded at different frequencies. Real earnings. EAR shows you how much your money really grows over a year, considering all the compounding. Smart choices. You can make informed decisions about where to put your money, knowing which option truly benefits you more. Pros: accurate comparison. EAR ensures you're comparing interest rates correctly, so you choose the best option. Realistic returns. It gives you a real picture of how your money grows over time. Cons: math complexity. Calculating EAR can be a bit trickier than looking at simple interest rates. Compounding knowledge. You need to know how often interest compounds in each investment for EAR to be useful. In a nutshell, EAR is like the magic glasses for understanding interest rates. It helps you compare and choose the best options for your money, taking into account how often it grows during the year. Fractional time periods in finance can get a bit tricky, but here's the simple idea. Balance of the account. Imagine you have an account that earns interest over time. If you want to know the actual amount of money in the account at a specific time, you need to round down the time to the nearest full compounding period. Even if you're close to the next period, you can't count the interest for that period until it's actually paid. Future and present value. However, if you want to know the future value FV or present value PV of money at a specific time, you can use fractional time periods in your calculations. This is because these calculations focus on the overall cost of not having your money during that time, regardless of when interest is paid. Importance. Fractional time periods are important because they help us be precise in financial calculations. They make sure we're not counting interest before it's actually earned or paid. Pros. Precision. They allow for precise calculations when dealing with the time value of money. Accurate comparisons. Ensure you're comparing financial values accurately. Cons. Can be confusing. Dealing with fractional time periods can be confusing, especially when calculating account balances. In a nutshell, when finding the actual balance of an account, round down to the nearest full compounding period. But when calculating future or present values, you can use fractional time periods to get more accurate results. Fractional time periods in finance can be a bit puzzling, but let's break it down. Balance of the account. When you have an account that earns interest over time, the account balance only changes when interest is actually paid. To find the balance, you need to round the fractional time period down to the last period when interest was paid. This ensures you're not counting interest before it's earned. Future and present value. However, when calculating future value FV or present value PV of money, you can use fractional time periods. This is because these calculations focus on the overall cost of not having your money during that time, regardless of when interest is paid. So fractional time periods can be used in these calculations. Importance. It's crucial to understand fractional time periods because they help us make precise financial calculations. They ensure we're not overestimating or underestimating the value of money. Pros. Precision. Allows for precise calculations. Accurate comparisons. Ensures accurate comparisons of financial values. Cons. Complexity. Dealing with fractional time periods can be complex, especially when calculating account balances. Now, let's look at a simple example. Suppose you have $1,000 in an account with a 5% annual interest rate that compounds quarterly. You want to know the balance after 2.5 years, which is halfway between two quarterly compounding periods. Balance. If you're calculating the account balance, you'd round down to the nearest complete quarter, 2.25 years, since interest was last paid at the end of the second year. So you'd find the balance as of the 8th quarter. Future value FV. If you're calculating the future value, you'd use the exact 2.5 years as your time period. This is because FV calculations consider the entire cost of not having your money during that time. In summary, when figuring out the balance, round down to the nearest full compounding period. But when dealing with FV or PV calculations, you can use fractional time periods for precision. Time value of money, TVM. What is it? TVM is the concept that the value of money changes over time due to interest and inflation. It's important in finance to make decisions about money and investments. Example, if you have $100 now and you can invest it to earn interest, it will be worth more in the future. Conversely, $100 in the future is worth less today due to inflation. 5 components of TVM. Discount rate. This is like the cost of not having your money right now. It's the interest rate used to calculate present and future values. Duration. The length of time the money will be invested or borrowed for. Payment. The amount of money you're putting in or taking out of the investment. Present value, PV. The current value of money that will be received in the future, taking into account the discount rate. Future value, FV. The value of money at a future point, taking into account the discount rate. Fractional time periods. When we deal with periods that aren't exact multiples of the compounding period, like fractions of a year, we need to adjust calculations. If asked for FV or PV, we use the fractional time period directly. If asked for the account balance, we round down to the nearest whole number of periods. Importance of details. When calculating FV/PV, the interest rate is about the cost of not having the money for a period, so even for fractional periods, it matters. For account balance, round down to the last whole period with interest earned. The balance doesn't change until interest is added. Compounding periods. These are the intervals at which interest is paid. Different frequencies, continuously, monthly, quarterly, yearly, affect how fast the balance grows. Graphs show how different compounding frequencies affect the growth of an investment over time. Pros and cons. Pros. Informed decisions. Helps people make better financial decisions by understanding how money grows over time. Investment planning. Guides people on how to invest money for maximum growth. Clearer account management. Explains how account balances change over time due to interest. Cons. Complexity. Calculations can be complex, especially when dealing with fractional time periods. Assumptions. Assumes stable interest rates and doesn't account for unexpected changes. Sensitivity to inputs. Small changes in discount rates or periods can lead to significant differences in calculated values. Understanding TVM helps individuals and businesses plan better for their financial future, make wise investment choices, and manage their funds more effectively. However, it requires careful attention to details and assumptions, and the calculations can get quite intricate in certain situations. Future and present value of money. What is it? When someone has financial information, like investments or loans, they figure out how much money will be worth in the future or how much it's worth today. This helps make smart money choices. Components of TVM. To do this, they use 5 things. Discount rate, how much money is worth less over time. Duration, how long. Payment, present value, what money's worth now. And future value, what it'll be worth later. Present value calculation, what is it? Figuring out how much money today is worth the same as money in the future, with a certain interest rate. Simple or compound interest. First, see if the interest is simple, only on the original money, or compound on the total, including old interest. Inputs for present value, future value. How much money is there in the future? Interest rate, discount rate. How much interest is added over time? Number of periods. How long the money is invested/borrowed for. Consistent units. Make sure interest rate and time are in the same units, like years. Assumption. Usually, assume interest compounds, gets added. Calculating future and present values helps in making decisions about investments and loans. People use these calculations to see how money changes over time and choose the best financial options. It's often more complex with compound interest, but if you keep units consistent, you can plug the numbers into the equations. 5 TVM components importance. When doing these calculations, 5 things matter. Discount rate. This is like the cost of not having money now. It's the interest rate used. Duration. How long the money is involved. Payment. How much money is there. Present value, PV. What future money is worth today. Future value, FV. How much money will be in the future. Calculating present value, PV. Check if interest is simple or compound. If simple, use a simple interest formula. If compound, use a rearranged formula. Inputs for PV calculation, future value, money's future worth. Interest rate, percentage of interest paid each period. Number of periods. How long the money's involved. Important points. Usually, interest compounds, so use the compound formula. Make sure units for time and interest match. If using software like Excel, it's set for compounding. Consistency in units is key, like using years for both time and interest. Calculating present value helps us understand how much money now is equivalent to a future amount, considering interest. It's usually about compound interest, and making sure units match is vital for accurate calculations. Calculating present value, PV, is all about figuring out how much a certain amount of money in the future is worth today, considering a specific interest rate. Let's simplify this concept. Importance. Calculating PV is crucial in making financial decisions. It helps you determine the current value of future cash flows, allowing you to assess investments, loans, or any financial choice. Pros. Informed decisions. Helps you make informed financial decisions by assessing the value of future money today. Precision. Provides precise values for future cash flows. Cons. Complexity. Can be complex when interest rates and time periods have different units. Example. Suppose you have $1,000 and you want to know how much it's worth today if you can earn 5% interest on it for 3 years. Identify the type of interest. In most cases, it's compound interest. Ensure consistent units for interest rate and time periods. If the interest rate is 5% per year and you're looking at 3 years, the units match. Use the PV formula, FV, future value is $1,000. R, interest rate is 5% per year, so 0.05. N, number of periods is 3 years. Plug in these values. PV equals 1,000 slash 1 plus 0.05 caret 3 PV equals 863.84. So $1,000 you'd receive in 3 years with a 5% interest rate is worth $863.84 today. In summary, calculating PV helps you understand the current value of future money, allowing for wise financial planning and decision-making. It ensures you're not overestimating or underestimating the worth of future cash flows. Calculating present value PV in finance helps you figure out how much a future sum of money is worth today. Let's simplify this concept and explore its importance, along with some pros and cons. Simple versus compound interest. First, you need to determine whether the interest is simple or compound. Compound interest is more common, where you earn interest on both your original amount, principal, and the interest you've previously earned. With simple interest, you only earn interest on the principal. Consistent units. Make sure the interest rate and the number of periods have consistent units. If the interest rate is given as an annual percentage, your number of periods should be in years. Importance. Informed decisions. Calculating PV helps you make informed financial decisions by understanding the value of money over time. Investment evaluation. It's crucial for evaluating investments, loans, or any financial opportunity where you need to know the present worth of future cash flows. Pros. Financial planning. Helps in financial planning and budgeting by showing the value of future cash flows today. Comparison. Allows for easy comparison of different investment options. Cons. Complexity. Can become complex when dealing with multiple cash flows or varying interest rates. In summary, calculating PV is essential for understanding the current value of future cash flows. It helps in making smart financial choices and evaluating investments. Comparing interest rates is crucial when making financial decisions, but it's not just about comparing nominal values. Let's break down this concept in simple terms, explain its importance, and discuss the pros and cons. Simple explanation. Comparing interest rates means determining which option offers a better deal in terms of earning interest on your money or paying interest on a loan. It's essential to consider factors like inflation and compounding. Importance. Smart financial decisions. Helps you make informed choices when saving, investing, or borrowing money. Avoiding losses. Ensures you don't lose money due to inflation or high interest costs. Optimizing investments. Enables you to choose investments that offer higher returns after accounting for inflation. Pros. Informed decisions. Allows you to make financial decisions that align with your goals and financial well-being. Accounting for compounding. Considers how interest compounds, providing a more accurate picture. Comparing apples to apples. Helps you compare different investment or loan options effectively. Cons. Complexity. Requires understanding concepts like nominal interest, real interest, and the Fisher equation. Changing factors. Interest rates and inflation can change, affecting your calculations. Now, let's illustrate with a simple example. Suppose you have two investment options. Company A offers a 5% annual return, but it's in a country with 4% expected inflation. Company B offers a 3% annual return, and it's in a country with 1% expected inflation. You might think Company A is the better choice because it offers a higher nominal interest rate, 5% versus 3%. However, comparing nominal rates alone isn't enough. By using the Fisher equation, you calculate the real interest rates. For Company A, 5%. 4% equals 1% for Company B. 3%. 1% equals 2% now. You see that Company B offers a higher real interest rate, 2% versus 1%, making it the better investment choice, even though it had a lower nominal rate. Additionally, it's important to consider your cost of capital. If, for instance, your company's cost of capital is 13%, you should only invest in opportunities that offer returns higher than 13%. Even if an investment sounds attractive at 10% returns, it's not worthwhile if your cost of capital is 13%. Cost of capital. Companies also consider their cost of capital, which is the return they could earn on an alternative investment with similar risk. If a company's expected return on an investment is less than its cost of capital, it may not pursue that investment. In summary, comparing interest rates is crucial for making informed financial decisions. It helps you understand the real value of money, especially when accounting for factors like inflation and cost of capital. Calculating future and present value. A graduate uses financial data to find out how much money will be worth in the future, future value, and today, present value. This helps make smart money decisions. Importance of TVM components. 5 things matter when doing this. Discount rate. It's like the cost of not having money right now. Duration. How long the money is involved. Payment. The amount of money. Present value PV. What future money is worth today. Future value FV. How much money there will be in the future. Considering variables. Things like compounding, interest on interest, inflation, rising prices, and cost of capital, return on investment, are important before comparing interest rates. Effective interest rates. The real interest you get isn't just the nominal rate. Interest compounds, making it more. Effective annual rate, EAR, calculates the real rate considering compounding multiple times a year. Real interest rates. Interest rates are set partly to counter inflation, which reduces money's value over time. Fisher equation helps find real interest by subtracting expected inflation from nominal rate. Cost of capital. It's important if interest is more than your cost of capital, return on similar risk investment. Companies won't invest if expected return is less than their cost of capital. All these factors help understand how much money will be worth, account for inflation, and make wise investment choices. Just comparing nominal interest rates isn't enough. You need to consider the real interest and your cost of capital too. Time value of money, TVM, is a concept that helps us understand the value of money over time. When you're dealing with financial decisions like borrowing or investing, TVM helps you figure out how much money is worth today and in the future. There are 5 important things to consider. Discount rate. This is like the interest rate. It's important because it tells you how much you can earn or save by waiting or investing your money. Duration. How long the money is involved matters. The longer the time, the more your money can grow or change in value. Payment. This is about the money coming in or going out. You need to know how much money is being paid or received. Present value. This is the value of money right now. It helps you understand how much money you need today to match a certain amount in the future. Future value. This is what your money will be worth in the future after growing or changing in value. Example. Imagine you have $100 now, and you can either invest it at a 5% interest rate or keep it for 5 years. You need to decide if you should invest or not. TVM helps you figure out what the $100 will be worth in 5 years if you invest, and if that's better than just keeping $100. Importance. TVM is important because it helps us make smart money decisions. It lets us compare different options and understand how money changes over time. Without TVM, we might not realize that a lower interest rate with less frequent compounding might actually be better for us in the long run. Pros. Helps us compare options and make better financial decisions. Shows the real value of money by considering factors like inflation and compounding. Useful for planning savings, investments, and loans. Cons. It can get complicated when dealing with multiple factors like different compounding frequencies and inflation rates. Assumes consistent interest rates and no unexpected events, which might not always be true. Some calculations might be challenging for people who are not familiar with math or finance. Remember, understanding TVM can make you better at managing your money wisely and making informed financial choices. Interest rates. They're not as simple as they seem. You can't just compare 2 interest rates by looking at their numbers. You need to consider how often interest is added to your money, compounding. Effective interest rates. This tells you the real interest rate when interest compounds multiple times in a year. If you have 2 investments, go for the one with the higher effective interest rate, even if its nominal rate is lower. Real interest rates. Inflation makes money lose value over time. The Fisher equation helps find the real interest rate by subtracting expected inflation from the nominal interest rate. Cost of capital. Companies have a set rate they expect to earn from their investments. If an investment doesn't promise to make more than this rate, they won't do it, no matter how good it may sound. So when choosing between investments or loans, it's important to understand these concepts to make the best financial decisions. Amortization. When you borrow money and need to pay it back in small pieces over time, you create a plan called an amortization schedule. This plan tells you how much to pay each time and for how long. Time value of money. It's important because money today is worth more than the same amount in the future. This is because you can use money today to make more money through investments. Example, let's say you buy a house for $100,000 with an 8% interest rate, paying it back over 30 years. Each month, you pay $734. In the end, you pay over $264,000. That's because of the time value of money, why it matters. Pros, financial planning. It helps you plan your payments when you borrow money, like for a house or a car. Investment understanding. You'll understand why it's important to invest your money to make it grow. Cons, cost. You end up paying more than you borrowed because of interest. Complexity. Understanding all the calculations and schedules can be tricky. In simple terms, this text teaches you to be smart with money by considering how time affects its value, especially when dealing with loans and payments. Importance, smart financial decisions. Understanding how money's value changes over time helps you make better decisions when borrowing or lending money. Avoid overpaying. It prevents you from paying more than you borrowed due to interest. Business and personal use. This concept is crucial for both personal finance decisions, like buying a house, and business financial planning. Example, imagine you want to buy a $100,000 house with an 8% interest rate over 30 years, making monthly payments. Without understanding time value of money, you might think you're just paying back $100,000. But because money today is worth more than money tomorrow, you'll end up paying around $264,000 in total. That's more than 2.5 times the original price. Pros, smart decisions. Helps you make informed decisions about loans and investments. Prevents overpaying. Ensures you don't pay more than necessary due to interest. Useful for businesses. Crucial for businesses to plan finances and assess investments. Cons, complex. Understanding and calculating these concepts can be challenging for some. Requires planning. You need to create an amortization schedule before taking a loan, which can be time-consuming. Potential for high costs. If you don't understand it, you might end up paying much more than you initially thought. In summary, understanding the time value of money is vital for making wise financial choices, whether in your personal life or in business. It prevents you from overpaying for loans and helps you plan for the future effectively. However, it can be complex and requires careful planning. Amortization. When you borrow money and need to pay it back in small amounts over time, it's important to understand how much you're actually paying because of time and interest. This process of calculating and planning these payments is called amortization. Amortization schedule. When you borrow or lend money with multiple smaller payments over time, you make an amortization schedule. This schedule decides how much you'll pay each time and how many times you'll need to pay to cover the borrowed amount. Both parties need to agree on this plan before borrowing starts. Time value of money. The idea that money today is worth more than the same amount of money in the future because you can invest it and earn more. When you borrow or lend money, you need to consider the money's changing value over time. Principal and interest. When you borrow money, you have to pay back not only the initial amount, the principal, but also a bit extra called interest. This extra amount is a percentage of the borrowed money and accounts for the time value of money. Example, let's say you want to buy a house for $100,000. You borrow this money with an 8% interest rate, and you plan to pay it back over 30 years in monthly installments. Even though the house costs $100,000, you'll end up paying more than $264,000 because of the interest over time. Importance. Understanding amortization helps you see how borrowing and lending money really work. It's crucial for making smart financial decisions, whether it's buying a house or managing a business loan. Pros. Helps you plan payments and understand how borrowing works. Allows for better financial decisions. Shows how interest and time affect your overall costs. Cons. Can be a bit complex to understand fully, especially when dealing with different interest rates and repayment periods. Assumes consistent interest rates, which might not always be the case in real life. By knowing about amortization and how money's value changes over time, you can make better decisions when borrowing or lending money. Calculating future and present value of money. When someone has financial data and needs to make a money-related decision, like investing or borrowing, they can figure out how much money will be worth in the future or how much it's worth right now. This helps them make smarter choices with their money. Time value of money components. There are 5 important parts to consider when using these calculations. Discount rate. This is like the interest rate that shows how much money can grow or change over time. Duration. How long the money is involved matters, as more time can lead to more change in value. Payment. The money coming in or going out is important to know. Present value. This is the money's value today. Future value. This is what the money will be worth in the future. Perpetuity. A perpetuity is a special type of money flow where payments happen forever. It's like an endless series of payments. For this kind of situation, you can find the present value by dividing the payment size by the interest rate. There's no future value because it goes on forever. Example. Imagine a situation where someone gets a fixed payment every year forever. To figure out its value today, you divide the payment by the interest rate. But if the payments grow by a certain percentage each year, you subtract the growth rate from the interest rate to find the value. Importance. Understanding how to calculate the value of money over time helps people make better financial decisions. It's crucial for making wise choices when dealing with investments or loans. Pros. Helps in making better decisions about money and investments. Shows how money's value changes over time. Useful for both personal finances and business decisions. Cons. Can be a bit complicated when dealing with different interest rates or growth rates. Assumes consistent interest rates and payment patterns, which may not always be accurate. By learning about these concepts, people can make informed choices about money and understand how its value changes over time. Importance of TVM components. TVM is like a tool to help you understand the value of money over time. There are 5 parts to TVM: discount rate, interest rate, duration, time, payment, money you receive or pay, present value, current worth of money, and future value, what money will be worth in the future. Understanding these parts is important for making smart financial choices. What's a perpetuity? A perpetuity is a never-ending stream of payments. It's like getting money forever with no end date. There's no future value for a perpetuity because it keeps going on forever. Calculating perpetuities. To find the present value, how much it's worth now, of a perpetuity, you divide the payment amount by the interest rate. If the payments in a perpetuity grow over time, like increasing every year, it's called a growing perpetuity. You subtract the growth rate from the interest rate in the formula. So, in simple terms, this text is about how a graduate uses TVM to understand the value of money over time and how they deal with something called a perpetuity, which is like getting money forever. Understanding this stuff helps make better financial decisions. Importance of TVM components. TVM helps you figure out how money's value changes over time. There are 5 parts of TVM: discount rate, interest rate, duration, time, payment, money involved, present value, current money worth, and future value, what money will be worth later. Knowing these parts is essential for making good financial choices. What's a perpetuity? A perpetuity is like a never-ending flow of money. It's as if you keep getting paid forever, with no stopping. There's no future value for a perpetuity because it goes on forever. Calculating perpetuities. To find the present value, how much it's worth now, of a perpetuity, you divide the payment amount by the interest rate. If the payments in a perpetuity increase over time, it's called a growing perpetuity. You use a special formula that subtracts the growth rate from the interest rate. Example. Imagine you have $1,000 and you want to know how much it's worth in 10 years. To figure this out, you need to consider TVM components like interest rate and time duration. Importance. TVM helps you make wise financial decisions by showing how money changes over time. Perpetuity understanding can be handy for things like valuing financial assets or planning for long-term payments. Pros. TVM helps you make informed decisions about loans, investments, and more. Perpetuity calculations are useful in finance, especially when dealing with investments with indefinite payouts. Cons. TVM can sometimes be a bit complex to understand. Perpetuity calculations may not apply to many real-life situations because most payments eventually end. In simple terms, this text explains how TVM and perpetuity are tools to understand the value of money over time. They help with smart money decisions but can be a bit tricky to grasp. Present value (PV) and future value (FV) are 2 important financial concepts that help us understand how money's value changes over time. Future value (FV). FV tells us how much a certain amount of money will be worth in the future, assuming a specific interest rate. Imagine you have $100 and you want to know how much it will grow to in 5 years with an interest rate of 10%. FV helps you calculate that, and in this case, it would be $161. Present value, PV. PV is the opposite. It tells us how much a future amount of money is worth in today's terms. So if you expect to receive $161 in 5 years with a 10% interest rate, PV helps you figure out that it's worth $100 today. Relationship between PV and FV. They're like two sides of the same coin. When you calculate FV, you're looking at the future value of money. When you calculate PV, you're looking at its value in the present. As interest rates or the number of time periods increase, FV also increases and PV decreases. The opposite happens when interest rates or time periods decrease. Why it's important: PV and FV are vital for making financial decisions. They help you figure out how much money is worth now and in the future. This is crucial for things like investments, loans, and retirement planning. It helps you decide where to put your money or whether to take a loan. Pros: helps you plan and make wise financial choices. Provides a clear understanding of how money grows or shrinks over time. Cons: can be a bit complex to calculate without financial tools or formulas. Assumes constant interest rates and time periods, which may not always be the case in real life. In simple terms, PV and FV help you figure out how money's value changes over time, which is super important for making smart financial decisions. It's like knowing how much your money will grow or shrink in the future, or how much a future amount is worth today. Present value and future value. How money changes over time explanation. When we talk about the present value, PV, and future value, FV, of money, we're looking at how the worth of money changes over time. These calculations help us understand the value of money today and how it could grow or shrink in the future. Present value, PV. Imagine you have some money that you'll receive in the future. The present value is the worth of that future money if we bring it back to today. It's like asking, if I had this money right now, how much would it be worth? This helps us see the value of future money in today's terms. Future value, FV. Future value is the opposite. It shows how much money that you have today will be worth in the future if it grows at a certain interest rate. It helps us understand how much money will be worth later on. Importance. These calculations are important because they help us make smart decisions about money. They let us see if an investment or a loan is a good idea. We can compare money's value now and in the future to decide what's best for us. Examples. Let's say you have $100. If you put it in a bank account with a 5% interest rate, what will it be worth in 5 years? That's the future value. On the other hand, if someone promises to give you $100 in 5 years, how much is it worth to you today? That's the present value. Pros. Helps us make wise financial decisions. Lets us compare value of money today and in the future. Useful for planning investments and loans. Cons. Might not consider unexpected changes in interest rates or economic conditions. Assumes constant interest rates and other factors, which may not always be the case. By understanding how present and future values work, we can make better choices about money and see how it changes over time. Performing time value of money calculations for multiple cash flows explanation. When we're dealing with multiple payments or investments that happen at different times and have different values, we can use time value of money calculations to find out how much they'll be worth in the future. This helps us understand the total future value of all these different payments. Future value of multiple cash flows. Imagine you have a bunch of different payments or investments, each with their own values and timings. To find out how much they'll be worth in the future, you calculate the future value for each one separately and then add them all up. Importance. This is important because it helps us figure out the total value of a bunch of different money-related things happening at different times. It's like adding up all these values to see the overall picture. Example. Suppose you're receiving $50 after 2 years, $100 after 5 years, and $150 after 10 years, all with an interest rate of 6%. You can calculate the future value of each of these payments using the formula and then add them up to find out how much all of these will be worth together in the future. Pros. Helps us see the combined future value of different payments or investments. Useful for planning and comparing different financial scenarios. Cons. Can become complex when dealing with irregular payments or different interest rates. assumes constant interest rates and other factors, which might not always be true. By understanding how to calculate the future value of multiple cash flows, we can better understand the overall value of various money-related situations happening at different times. Calculating the future value, FV, of multiple cash flows means figuring out how much a bunch of payments or investments will be worth at a certain point in the future. This is important because it helps you understand the total value of money you'll have down the road when you have many different payments or investments happening at different times. Simple example. Let's say you have 3 investments. You put $100 in a savings account for 2 years at an annual interest rate of 5%. You invest $200 in stocks for 3 years and expect a 10% return. You receive a $50 gift from a friend today. Now, you want to know how much all these investments will be worth in 5 years. Importance helps you plan for your financial future by showing you the total value of all your investments or payments. Useful for making decisions like saving for retirement, evaluating business projects, or understanding the value of your investments over time. Pros provides a clear picture of your financial future, helps with long-term planning and investment decisions. Cons, calculating the FV of multiple cash flows manually can be time-consuming if the cash flows are irregular. If the cash flows don't happen at regular intervals or earn different interest rates, it can be more challenging to calculate. In a nutshell, finding the FV of multiple cash flows is like adding up all your money from different investments or payments to see how much you'll have in the future. It's important for financial planning, but it can be tricky if the cash flows are complicated. Performing time value of money calculations for future value of multiple cash flows explanation. When we have different payments or investments happening at various times and we want to know their combined future value, we need to calculate the future value, FV, of each cash flow and then add them up. This helps us figure out the total worth of all these cash flows at a specific point in the future. Steps. Define the future time you want to find the value for. Calculate the future value for each individual cash flow using the formula. Add up all the future values to find the total future value of all the cash flows combined. Importance. This process is important because it helps businesses and individuals understand the total value of their multiple cash flows over time. It allows them to see how their investments or payments add up and make better financial decisions. Example. Imagine you're receiving $50 every year for 5 years. Each year, you put that money in an account that earns 8% interest. You want to know the total value of all these payments in 5 years. You would calculate the future value of each $50 payment using the formula and then add them all together to get the combined future value. Pros. Helps you see the total value of multiple payments or investments. Useful for planning and comparing different cash flows. Provides a clear understanding of how money grows or changes over time. Cons. Can get complicated when dealing with various payment sizes, interest rates, and timing. Assumes constant interest rates in regular intervals, which may not always be the case. By understanding how to calculate the future value of multiple cash flows, individuals and businesses can make informed decisions about their finances and see the bigger picture of their financial activities. Calculating present value for multiple cash flows explanation. When you have different payments or investments happening at different times and you want to know their combined worth today, you need to calculate the present value, PV, of each cash flow and then add them up. This helps you understand the total value of all these cash flows in today's terms. Steps. Decide on the specific point in time, present, you want to find the combined value for. Discount each individual cash flow to that present time using the formula. Add up all the present values to find the total present value of all the cash flows combined. Importance. This process is important because it helps individuals and businesses see the total value of their multiple cash flows in today's money. It helps them make informed decisions about investments or payments. Example. Imagine you have different payments of $50, $100, and $75 coming to you in 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years, respectively. You want to know the combined value of all these payments today. You would calculate the present value of each payment using the formula and then add them all together to get the total present value. Pros. Helps you see the total value of multiple payments or investments today. Useful for making financial decisions based on today's value. Gives a clearer picture of how money changes over time. Cons. Can be complex if payments happen at irregular intervals or have varying interest rates. Assumes constant interest rates in regular intervals, which might not always be true. By understanding how to calculate the present value of multiple cash flows, individuals and businesses can better assess the worth of their financial activities and make informed decisions about their money. Calculating the present value, PV, of multiple cash flows is like figuring out how much all those future payments or investments are worth in today's terms. This is important for making financial decisions. Example, imagine you have two investments, $200 you'll receive in 2 years with a 6% interest rate and $300 you'll get in 3 years with a 5% interest rate. You want to know how much these are worth in today's dollars. Importance, it helps you understand the total value of future payments or investments right now. This is crucial for planning and decision-making. For example, you might want to know the current value of all your future retirement income to see if it's enough. Pros, enables you to make informed decisions about the value of your future cash flows. Helps with financial planning and assessing the profitability of projects or investments. Cons, calculating the PV manually for each cash flow can be complex if they're not uniform or don't have the same start date. Assumes constant interest rates and regular intervals, which may not always be the case in real life. In simple terms, finding the PV of multiple cash flows is about adding up all the values of your future money in today's terms. It's vital for planning and making smart financial decisions, but it can be challenging when the cash flows are irregular or have different start dates and interest rates. Time value of money, TVM, is a cool concept that helps us understand how money's value changes over time. It's like comparing the worth of money you have now to the worth of money you'll have in the future. Imagine you have $100 today and you have two options: either spend it right away or save it for a year. If you decide to save it, it might earn some interest or grow over time. So after a year, that $100 could become, let's say, $110. On the other hand, if you spend it now, you won't have that chance to earn extra money from it. Now, why is this important? Well, the concept of TVM is essential for making smart financial decisions. When you understand TVM, you can figure out things like investments. If you have some money and you're thinking about investing it, TVM helps you calculate how much it could grow over time. This helps you choose the best investment option, loans and debts. If you borrow money, like for a car or a house, TVM helps you understand how much you'll end up paying back over time. It helps you plan your payments and decide which loan is better for you. Savings goals. If you have a goal, like buying a new gaming console or going on a vacation, TVM helps you figure out how much money you need to save regularly to reach that goal. Budgeting. TVM also helps you understand the impact of inflation on your money's purchasing power. It reminds you that prices of things usually go up over time, so you need to budget and save accordingly. In a nutshell, TVM helps you make wise money choices by considering the value of money over time. It's a super helpful concept that will guide you through financial decisions and secure a better future for yourself. Let's break down the 5 components of time value of money, TVM, and understand why each one is important. Discount rate. The discount rate is like a magic number that helps us compare the value of money at different points in time. It represents the interest rate or the return you could earn on your money if you invested it. For example, if you put $100 in a savings account with a 5% annual interest rate, the discount rate would be 5%. Importance. The discount rate is crucial because it helps us bring future values of money back to the present. It allows us to figure out how much money in the future is worth in today's terms, which is really helpful for making decisions about investments or loans. Time term. Time, in TVM, simply means the number of years you're looking into the future or the number of years you're waiting for something to happen. It could be as short as a few months or as long as several years. Importance. The time component is essential because it affects how money changes in value over time. The longer you wait, the more the value of money can change due to interest or inflation. Payment, cash flow. A payment refers to the amount of money you receive or pay out at a specific point in time. It could be a single lump sum or a series of regular payments. Importance. Payments are significant because they directly impact the overall value of money. Whether you're receiving money, like salary or investment returns, or making payments, like loan installments, understanding their timing and amount helps you plan your finances wisely. Present value. Present value is the current worth of a future payment or investment, taking into account the time and discount rate. It shows how much money you need to have right now to match a future amount. Importance: present value is crucial for decision making. It helps you determine if an investment or a loan is a good deal in today's terms. By calculating the present value, you can compare different opportunities and see which one makes the most sense financially. Future value. Future value is the amount of money an investment or a payment will grow to in the future, considering the time and the discount rate. Importance: future value helps you see the potential growth of your money. It's particularly useful for long-term investments and understanding the power of compound interest. Understanding and using these components in TVM calculations is vital for various financial scenarios. Whether it's making smart investment decisions, planning for major purchases, or managing loans, TVM helps you see the real impact of your money over time. It empowers you to make informed choices that can lead to a more secure and prosperous financial future. So, by grasping these components, you'll be better equipped to handle your finances and achieve your financial goals with confidence. Let's break down the concept of rate I/Y. Rate I/Y. What is it? The rate, or I/Y, stands for the interest rate, which is usually expressed as a percentage. This rate helps us understand how much interest we can earn or need to pay on an investment or a loan. It tells us how fast our money can grow if we invest it or how much we have to pay back if we borrow money. How is it used? This interest rate can be applied over different time periods, like annually, monthly, or even quarterly. If it's something other than an annual rate, we make a simple adjustment. For example, if the annual rate is 6% and we want to know the monthly rate, we divide 6% by 12, the number of months in a year. So the monthly rate would be 0.5%, 6%/12. Why is it important? Knowing the interest rate is super important because it affects our money decisions. For example, savings. If you put money in a savings account with a high interest rate, your savings can grow faster. Investments. Understanding the interest rate helps you decide where to invest your money to get the best returns. Loans. When you take a loan, the interest rate determines how much extra you need to pay back on top of the borrowed money. Financial planning. Whether it's saving for a big purchase or retirement, the interest rate plays a big role in reaching your financial goals. So, the rate, I/Y, on the TIBA2 Plus calculator is a super handy tool that helps you make better financial choices by understanding the impact of interest rates on your money over time. Term N. What is it? The term, or N, on the TIBA2 Plus calculator represents the time period for which you want to calculate something. It helps us figure out how long we're looking into the future or the duration for which we want to analyze an investment or a loan. How is it used? This time period can be measured in years, but it can also be for shorter periods, like months or quarters. When dealing with a time period other than a year, we just adjust the calculation. For example, if you're looking at an investment for 3 years but want to know the results on a monthly basis, you multiply 3 years by 12 months, since there are 12 months in a year, and you get 36 months. Why is it important? Knowing the time period is crucial because it tells us how long we have to wait for our investment to grow or how long it'll take to pay off a loan. Here are some reasons why it's essential. Investment planning. If you're saving for a big purchase or retirement, knowing how many years you have until then helps you plan and save accordingly. Loan management. When you take a loan, the term determines how many years you have to make repayments, and this affects the total amount you'll end up paying back. Interest accumulation. The longer your money is invested, the more time it has to earn interest and grow. So, the term N on the TIBA2 Plus calculator is a helpful tool that allows you to consider the impact of time on your financial decisions. Whether you're investing, saving, or managing loans, understanding the time period helps you make informed choices and work towards your financial goals effectively. Payment, BMT. What is it? Payment, or PMT on the TIBA2 Plus calculator refers to a specific sum of money that you either pay or receive regularly for a certain period of time. It could be money you need to pay each month for a loan or money you receive as regular income or returns on an investment. How is it used? You use the PMT feature when you want to find out how much money you need to pay or receive periodically. For example, if you're getting a loan to buy a car, the PMT helps you figure out your monthly loan installment. Or, if you're investing in a savings account, the PMT can tell you how much interest or income you'll receive regularly. Why is it important? Understanding the PMT is vital for managing your finances. Here's why it's important: loan planning. When you take a loan, knowing the regular payment amount, like monthly installments, helps you budget and make sure you can afford the loan. Budgeting. If you have regular income or expenses, knowing the PMT helps you plan your monthly budget and keep track of your finances. Investment decisions. If you're considering an investment that gives you periodic returns, knowing the PMT helps you see the potential income it can generate. In a nutshell, the payment, PMT, on the TIBA2 Plus calculator is a handy tool that allows you to calculate regular payments or income over time. It helps you make sound financial decisions, stay on top of your budget, and ensures you're well prepared for any financial commitments you take on. Present value, PV. What is it? Present value, or PV, on the TIBA2 Plus calculator represents the current worth of a sum of money that you either possess right now or expect to receive in the future. It's like figuring out how much that future money would be worth if we looked at it in today's terms. How is it used? You use the PV feature when you want to understand the value of money over time. For example, if you expect to receive $1,000 a year from now, you can calculate its present value to find out how much it's worth right now. This is helpful because money has the potential to grow or shrink over time due to interest or inflation. Why is it important? Understanding the present value is essential for several reasons. Investment decisions. When you're considering an investment, knowing the present value of potential future returns helps you see if it's a good deal right now. Loan planning. If you're thinking about taking a loan, knowing the present value of future repayments helps you see the total cost in today's dollars. Budgeting. When planning for future expenses or savings goals, knowing the present value helps you estimate how much money you need to set aside now. In simpler terms, present value is like a time-traveling calculator that helps you compare the value of money from different points in time. It's essential for making informed financial choices, whether it's investing wisely, managing loans, or budgeting for your future goals. By considering present value, you can make sure you're making the most of your money and securing a brighter financial future. Future value, FV. What is it? Future value, or FV, on the TIBA2 Plus calculator represents the amount of money a specific sum you have right now or expect to receive will grow into by a future date. It's like looking at how much that money will be worth in the future, considering potential interest or growth. How is it used? You use the FV feature when you want to see how your money can grow over time. For instance, if you invest $1,000 today, the FV calculation helps you figure out how much it will be worth after a specific number of years, considering the interest it can earn. Why is it important? Understanding future value is important for several reasons. Investment planning. When you invest money, knowing the future value helps you see the potential return on your investment. Savings goals. If you have a savings goal, like buying a car or going on a trip, knowing the future value helps you determine how much you need to save to reach that goal. Financial decision-making. Whether it's deciding between different investment options or comparing the cost of borrowing money, future value helps you make better financial choices. In simpler terms, future value is like a crystal ball that shows you the growth of your money over time. It's a powerful tool for making smart financial decisions and understanding how your money can work for you in the future. By considering future value, you can set achievable financial goals, plan for a comfortable retirement, and make informed choices that lead to a brighter financial future. Present value, BV. What is it? Present value represents the current worth of a sum of money that you have right now or expect to receive in the future. It's like looking at the value of that money in today's terms, considering potential interest or growth. Future value, FV. What is it? Future value represents the amount of money that a specific sum you have right now or expect to receive will grow into by a future date. It's like looking at how much that money will be worth in the future, considering potential interest or growth. Relationship between PV and FV. The relationship between PV and FV is like a two-way street, from present to future, PV to FV. When you calculate the future value, FV, you are taking the present value, PV, and letting it grow over time with the help of interest or growth. It shows you how your money can increase over the years if you invest it wisely. From future to present, FV to PV. On the other hand, when you calculate the present value, PV, you are taking a sum of money you expect to receive in the future, FV, and bringing it back to today's value. This helps you understand how much that future money is worth right now, considering potential interest or growth. Why are they important? Both present value and future value calculations are essential for financial decision-making. Investment decisions. PV helps you decide if an investment is worth making right now, and FV helps you see the potential growth of your money over time. Budgeting and savings. PV helps you plan for future expenses by understanding how much money you need to set aside today, and FV helps you set realistic savings goals. Loan planning. PV helps you see the real cost of a loan, while FV helps you understand the impact of interest on your future payments. In a nutshell, both PV and FV calculations are like time machines for money. PV helps you understand the value of future money in today's terms, and FV shows you how your money can grow over time. By using these calculations together, you can make informed financial decisions, plan for your future, and make your money work smarter for you. Let's dive into performing basic time value of money calculations, including periods other than annually, like monthly, weekly, or quarterly. Time value of money, TVM. What is it? Time value of money is a concept that helps us understand how the value of money changes over time. It allows us to compare money from different points in time, considering factors like interest and inflation. Simple terms explanation. Why it's important. Imagine you have $100 today, and you have two options: spend it right away or save it for the future. TVM calculations help you make wise decisions. Saving for retirement. When planning for retirement, you can calculate how much money you need to save each month or each year to have enough funds when you retire. You consider factors like interest or investment growth over time. Saving for a large purchase. Whether it's buying a car or going on a dream vacation, TVM helps you set savings goals. You can calculate how much you need to save regularly to reach your target in a specific time frame. Borrowing money. If you're taking a loan, TVM helps you understand the total cost of the loan, including interest, and how much you need to repay over time. Basic TVM calculations. Explained simply, there are three main TVM calculations. Future value, FV. This calculation tells you how much your money will grow to in the future, considering the interest or investment returns. If you save $100 and it earns 5% interest annually, the FV after 1 year would be $105. Present value, PV. PV helps you find out how much a future amount is worth in today's terms. If you want $105 a year from now and the interest rate is 5%, the PV would be $100, the amount you need to have today. Payment, PMT. PMT helps you determine regular payments needed to reach a savings goal or pay off a loan. For example, if you want to save $1,000 in 1 year and you start with $0, the PMT would be $83.33 per month, or $1,000 divided by 12 months. Calculation frequency, EG, monthly, weekly, quarterly. Why it matters. When you save or invest money, it's important to consider how often you make contributions or receive returns. For instance, if you save monthly, you need to adjust the interest rate and time period accordingly. Let's say you have an annual interest rate of 6%, and you want to save for 3 years, but you contribute monthly. You would divide the annual rate by 12, the number of months in a year, and multiply the number of years by 12. So the interest rate per month would be 0.5%, and the number of months would be 36 to 3 years x 12 months. Understanding TVM calculations and considering different frequencies allows you to plan and manage your finances better. It helps you make informed choices about saving, investing, or borrowing, ensuring a secure financial future and achieving your goals. Let's break down perpetuities, including static and growing types. Perpetuities, what are they? Perpetuities are a special type of financial arrangement that involves receiving or paying a regular sum of money indefinitely into the future. It's like getting or giving a fixed payment on a never-ending basis. Static perpetuity, what is it? A static perpetuity is when you receive or pay a fixed amount of money regularly forever. It's like having a forever allowance that never changes. For example, receiving $100 every month for the rest of your life would be a static perpetuity. Growing perpetuity, what is it? A growing perpetuity is a bit different. It's when you receive or pay a regular sum of money that increases by a specific rate over time. It's like getting a raise on your forever allowance every year. For instance, starting with $100 a month and increasing by 5% each year would be a growing perpetuity. Explanation: why are perpetuities important? Perpetuities are essential because they provide a steady stream of income or payments, which can be helpful for various situations. Retirement planning. Perpetuities can represent pension payments or annuities that people receive during retirement, ensuring a steady income even after they stop working. Investment decisions. For investors, perpetuities can be a way to evaluate long-term cash flow from an investment. It helps them assess the potential returns they might receive indefinitely. Debt and loans. Perpetuities are useful for assessing the long-term cost of a loan or debt. For instance, governments sometimes issue perpetual bonds with fixed interest payments that continue forever. Inflation protection. Growing perpetuities can be used to protect against inflation as the payments increase over time, maintaining the purchasing power. In simple terms, perpetuities are like a never-ending money flow, either with a fixed amount or one that grows over time. They are crucial for financial planning, investment decisions, and understanding the long-term impact of cash flows. Whether it's for retirement income, evaluating investments, or managing debts, perpetuities help individuals and organizations make informed choices for a more stable financial future. Let's discuss how compound interest impacts the future value of money. Compound interest. What is it? Compound interest is like a superpower for your money. It's a way of earning or paying interest not only on the original amount, principal, but also on the interest that has already been added. It's like a snowball effect, where your money grows faster and faster over time. How compound interest works. Simple explanation. Imagine you put $100 in a savings account that earns 5% interest annually. In the first year, you'd earn $5 in interest, 5% of $100. Now, instead of keeping that $105, the next year, you'd earn 5% on $105, which is $5.25. This process keeps repeating, and your money keeps growing faster and faster with each passing year. Future value. Compound interest in action. Compound interest has a powerful impact on the future value of money. As time goes by, the interest keeps adding up and makes your money grow exponentially. What started as $100 can turn into much more over a longer period. Present value. Compound interest in action. On the other hand, if you want to know the present value of a future sum with compound interest, you'll find that it's typically smaller. This is because the future value is discounted to represent its worth in today's terms. Money in the future is not as valuable as money in the present because you could invest or use the money now and potentially earn more with compound interest. Importance of compound interest. Why it matters. Compound interest is essential because it impacts your financial decisions in multiple ways. Investments. Compound interest makes long-term investments more attractive. The longer you leave your money invested, the more it can grow exponentially, helping you achieve your financial goals faster. Savings. When you save money in accounts that offer compound interest, your savings can grow faster over time. It encourages regular savings and patience to see your money grow. Loans. On the other hand, compound interest affects loans. If you have a loan, the interest keeps adding up, and you end up paying more over time. In simple terms, compound interest is like a turbo boost for your money. It helps your savings or investments grow faster, but it also means that loans might cost you more in the long run. Understanding compound interest empowers you to make smart financial choices, whether it's saving for the future, investing wisely, or managing debt responsibly. So remember the power of compounding and let your money work for you to secure a brighter financial future. Let's expand on the key notes about time value of money, TVM. Time value of money, TVM. What is it? TVM is the idea that money is worth more today than the same amount of money in the future. This is because money can be invested or used to buy things right away, and it has the potential to grow in value over time through interest or investment returns. No waiting. Immediate investment or consumption. When you have money now, you can choose to invest it to earn more money or use it to buy something you want right away. For example, if you have $100 today, you could invest it in a savings account or buy a new gadget. Why would you wait? More money and inflation hedge. Sometimes, waiting can be beneficial because it allows your money to grow and become more valuable in the future. If you invest $100 for a few years, it could turn into $110, $120, or even more, depending on the interest or investment returns. Cost or value of waiting. TVM analyses. TVM allows us to analyze and understand the cost or value of waiting. By calculating the future value of money, we can see how much our money will grow over time if we invest it. On the other hand, by calculating the present value of money, we can see how much money we need to have now to reach a specific goal in the future. Importance of TVM, why it matters. Understanding TVM is crucial for making smart financial decisions. Here's why it's important. Investment decisions. TVM helps us choose the best investment options by comparing how much money can grow over time. Budgeting and savings goals. It allows us to plan for future expenses or savings goals by seeing how much money we need to set aside now. Inflation and purchasing power. TVM helps us maintain our spending power over time. As prices of things usually go up due to inflation, we need to account for it when planning our finances. Managing debts. TVM helps us understand the long-term cost of loans, including interest payments. In simple terms, TVM is like a magic calculator that helps us understand the value of money over time. It empowers us to make informed choices, whether it's about investments, savings goals, or managing debts. By considering TVM, we can plan for a brighter financial future and make our money work for us. Time value of money, TVM elements. What are they? TVM involves several important elements used to solve financial problems. PV or present value. This represents the value of money you have right now. In today's terms, it's like asking, how much is this money worth if we consider it today? For example, if you have $100 in your pocket, that's the present value. FV or future value. FV represents the value of money in the future after a certain number of years or time periods. It's like asking, how much will this money grow to over time? For instance, if you invest $100 today and it earns interest, the future value could be $110 after a year. An or number of periods. This is the total number of years or parts of years involved in the time frame. It's like saying, how many years will it take for my money to grow or change in value? If you invest for 5 years, N would be 5. PMT or payments. PMT represents multiple sums of money paid or received regularly over time. It could be monthly or yearly payments, like loan installments or rental income. For example, if you receive $50 every month, that's the payment. PI or interest rate. I represents the interest rate, or the rate at which money grows or changes in value. It's used to calculate both the future value, compounding, and present value, discounting. For instance, if the interest rate is 5%, I would be 0.05. Solving TVM problems. Use 4 to solve 5. In TVM problems, you'll typically be given 4 of these elements and use them to find the missing value. For example, if you know the present value, future value, number of periods, and interest rate, you can calculate the payment required or vice versa. Importance of TVM elements. Why they are important. Understanding and using these TVM elements are crucial for various financial scenarios. Investment decisions. They help you evaluate the potential growth of investments and choose the best option. Savings and retirement planning. They enable you to plan and set aside money for future goals, like buying a house or saving for retirement. Loan management. They help you understand the cost of loans and manage your debt effectively. Financial decision making. They empower you to make informed choices about various financial transactions. In simple terms, these TVM elements are like puzzle pieces that allow you to understand the value of money over time and make smart financial decisions. Whether it's investing wisely, planning for the future, or managing your finances, knowing these elements helps you take control of your money and work towards your financial goals with confidence. Let's discuss the formulas for calculating future value FV and present value PV for both single and multiple periods and explain the keynote single period. Fixed sum. When we talk about a single period, it means we're looking at a financial situation that lasts for only one period, like 1 year. Here are the formulas for both simple interest and compound interest. Future value FV. For simple interest and compound interest, The future value after one period is calculated using the formula FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I, present value, PV. Similarly, the present value can be found using the formula PV equals FV slash 1 plus I, multiple periods, fixed sum. For situations that involve multiple periods, more than 1 year or time period, we need to modify the formulas. Here, N represents the number of periods, future value FV, multiple periods. For compound interest, the future value after N periods is given by the formula FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I caret and present value PV, multiple periods. And the present value can be calculated using PV equals FV slash 1 plus I caret in simple terms explanation. Why it's important, single period. In a single period, whether it's simple or compound interest, the formulas are straightforward. They allow us to see how much our money will grow, FV, or how much money we need today, PV, for a one-time financial transaction, like a short-term investment or a loan that lasts for only 1 year. Multiple periods. For longer-term financial planning, such as saving for retirement or long-term investments, we need to consider multiple periods. The formulas allow us to calculate how much our money will grow, FV, or how much we need to invest or save today, PV, over several years, taking into account the interest or investment returns for each period. Importance, why they are important. Understanding these formulas is crucial for various financial decisions. Investments, whether you're investing for a short period or saving for the long term, these formulas help you see the potential growth of your money or set financial goals. Loans and debts. If you're taking a loan, you can use these formulas to understand the total cost of the loan and plan your repayments. Financial planning. Whether it's retirement planning, saving for a big purchase, or managing debt, the FV and PV formulas help you make informed choices and set realistic financial targets. In simple terms, these formulas are like financial tools that allow you to see how money grows over time, FV, or how much money you need now to achieve a future goal, PV. By using these formulas, you can take control of your finances, make wise decisions, and work towards a more secure and prosperous financial future. Let's review annuities, including the annuity formula. Annuities, what are they? Annuities are a series of payments of a fixed amount made at regular intervals. It's like having a stream of money coming in or going out at set frequencies, such as monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Constant perpetuities provide a steady stream of income, while growing perpetuities can help keep up with rising costs due to inflation. Importance of understanding compounding and perpetuities. Maximizing savings and investments. Knowing about different compounding periods helps us choose the best savings or investment options to make our money grow faster. Planning for retirement. Perpetuities are relevant for retirement planning, ensuring a reliable income stream even after we stop working. Smart financial decisions. Understanding these concepts helps us make informed choices about loans, investments, and managing money in general. In simple terms, understanding compounding and perpetuities helps us make the most of our money, plan for the future, and ensure we have enough funds for a secure and comfortable life. They are important for scenarios where we receive or pay a fixed amount indefinitely. It's relevant for retirement planning, pension payments, or investments that offer continuous income streams. Considering different compounding periods and perpetuities helps us better plan our finances, evaluate investment options, and ensure a steady stream of income for the future. By understanding these concepts, we can make smarter financial choices and build a more secure financial future. In conclusion, grasping the concepts of different compounding periods and perpetuities is like having a superpower in managing our money. It allows us to choose the right financial strategies, reach our goals faster, and ensure a stable financial future. Whether we're saving, investing, or planning for retirement, these concepts help us make wiser financial decisions at any age. Let's expand on the key notes about the two types of perpetuities: constant perpetuity and growing perpetuities. What are they? As we discussed earlier, perpetuities are financial arrangements that involve receiving or paying a fixed sum of money regularly and indefinitely. They have no specific end date, and the payments continue forever. Type 1. Constant perpetuity. In a constant perpetuity, the payment remains the same throughout its lifetime. It's like receiving or making a fixed amount of money year after year, with no change in the payment. Formula for constant perpetuity. Why it's important. To calculate the value of a constant perpetuity, you use a simple formula. Value equals payment slash rate. Here, payment is the fixed amount you receive or pay regularly, and rate is the discount rate or interest rate used to evaluate the perpetuity's value. Importance of constant perpetuity. Why it's important. Constant perpetuities are valuable for investors looking for steady income streams. They are often used in various financial instruments, such as certain types of bonds or annuities, to provide consistent payments to investors or recipients. Type 2. Growing perpetuity. In a growing perpetuity, the payment increases at a specific rate over time. It's like receiving or making a gradually increasing amount of money year after year. Formula for growing perpetuity. Why it's important. To calculate the value of a growing perpetuity, you use a slightly more complex formula. Value equals payment 1 slash interest rate, growth rate. Here, payment 1 is the initial payment, interest rate is the discount rate or interest rate, and growth rate is the rate at which the payment increases. Importance of growing perpetuity. Why it's important. Growing perpetuities are valuable for situations where income needs to keep up with inflation or increase over time. They can be used in long-term financial planning, such as retirement income, where the cost of living might rise and a fixed payment might not be enough in the future. In simple terms, constant perpetuities are like a stable allowance that never changes, while growing perpetuities are like an allowance that increases every year. Understanding these two types of perpetuities helps individuals and investors choose the right financial instruments to secure a steady income for life or plan for future financial needs. By using the appropriate formula, we can accurately evaluate the value of these financial instruments and make informed financial decisions. Let's summarize the key points about the time value of money and its importance. Time value of money. What is it? The time value of money is a concept that says money is worth more today than the same amount of money in the future. When you have money now, you can use it immediately, while money in the future may be less valuable due to factors like inflation or having to wait to use it. Why it's important. Understanding the time value of money is crucial because it helps us make smart financial decisions. We can compare different deals, loans, and investments to figure out which one is the best for us. It allows us to know the true worth of money at different times, whether it's today or in the future. Key terms: interest rate, I or R, the cost of not having money for a specific period, or the amount earned on an investment per year. Future value, FV, the value of money in the future after a certain period. Present value, PV, the value of money today. Why it matters. Examples. If you won the lottery and had the choice to receive $5 million now or $6 million over the next 10 years, the time value of money helps you figure out which option is better for you. It considers the worth of money today and in the future. When you put your money in a bank, the interest rate they offer determines how much your money will grow over time. Understanding the time value of money helps you compare different banks and choose the one that offers the best interest rate. Simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is when you only earn interest on the initial amount you deposit, while compound interest allows you to earn interest on the money you previously earned as well. Compound interest helps your money grow faster over time. In simple terms, the time value of money teaches us that money today is worth more than money in the future. It helps us compare financial choices and make better decisions about saving, investing, or taking loans. By understanding these concepts, we can plan for a financially secure future and make the most of our money. Time value of money. Simple explanation. The time value of money is a cool concept in finance that says money today is worth more than the same amount of money in the future. Imagine someone offers you $100 right now or $100 1 year from now. You probably want the money now because you can use it immediately. So money today has a higher value than the same money in the future. Mental models and analogies. Ice cream melting. Think of money like ice cream. If you have an ice cream cone now, it's nice and tasty, like having money today. But if you wait for it to melt and have it later, it won't be as enjoyable, like money in the future losing its value. So it's better to enjoy your ice cream, money, now. Seeds in trees. Money today is like a tiny seed that you can plant and grow into a big tree over time, future value. The more you wait and let it grow, the taller the tree becomes. But if you keep the seed for too long without planting it, it won't grow into a tree. 3. Example exercises and questions. A. If you have $500 now and the interest rate is 10%, how much will you have after 1 year? Use the future value formula. FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus R. Answer. FV equals $500 asterisk 1 plus 0.10 equals $550. B. You want to save $1,000 for a new bike in 3 years. If the bank offers a 5% interest rate, how much do you need to deposit today? Use the present value formula. PV equals FV slash 1 plus per caret T. Answer. PV equals $1,000 slash 1 plus 0.05 caret 3 equals $863.84. Advantages and disadvantages of time value of money. Advantages. Helps us make better financial decisions by comparing options with different time frames. Allows us to plan for the future, like saving for big purchases or retirement. Helps businesses evaluate investments and calculate returns on projects. Disadvantages. Can be complex to understand all the formulas and calculations, but practice helps. Inflation can reduce the purchasing power of money in the future. Requires accurate predictions of future interest rates and cash flows, which can be challenging. Importance of knowing TVM. It helps us make smart choices about money and investments. Enables us to plan for the future and achieve our financial goals. Businesses use it to evaluate profitability and make informed decisions. In simple terms, understanding the time value of money is like knowing the value of your money over time. It's like making sure you get the most out of your ice cream before it melts, or planting a tiny seed to grow a big tree of money in the future. It's a superpower in finance that helps you make wise decisions, plan for the future, and become financially savvy. 20 key points about the time value of money. Time value of money, TVM, means money today is worth more than the same money in the future. If you get $100 today, it's better than getting $100 a year from now because you can use it immediately. Money today has present value PV, and money in the future has future value FV. The interest rate, I, tells us how much the value of money changes after 1 year. An interest rate of 10% means money will be worth 10% more in 1 year. Interest rate, I or R, is the cost of not having money for a period or the money earned on an investment per year. Future value, FV, is the value of money in the future, and present value, PV, is the value of money today. The equation connecting FV, PV, interest rate, I, and time T, is FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus R. Simple interest is when interest is only paid on the original amount, principal, and not on previously earned interest. Discounting is the process of finding the value of future money in today's terms using the discount rate. The discount rate is the interest rate used for discounting future cash flows to their present value. The time value of money helps us compare deals and investments at a single point in time. By discounting, we can find the present value of future cash flows and make informed financial decisions. Time value of money is essential for businesses to evaluate the total value of investments. Inflation reduces the purchasing power of money in the future, making money worth less over time. Money can be invested today to receive a return on the investment in the future. To make TVM calculations, we use the interest rate, duration, time, payments, present value, and future value. TVM helps us plan for the future, like saving for big purchases or retirement. The concept is like choosing between receiving a cash gift today or the same amount later with some extra value. Compound interest is when interest is earned on both the original amount and previously earned interest. In summary, the time value of money helps us understand that money today is more valuable than money in the future. We use special formulas to calculate the future and present value of money, and knowing these concepts helps us make smart choices, plan for the future, and evaluate different financial opportunities. Let's summarize the concept of time value of money and the difference between single-period and multi-period investments. Time value of money. Money today is worth more than the same amount of money in the future. If someone offers you $100 now or $100 a year later, you prefer the money now because you can use it right away. Present value, PV, is the value of money today, and future value, FV, is the value of money in the future. The interest rate, I, tells us how much money grows or changes in value after 1 year. Single-period investment. Single-period investments last for one period, usually 1 year. You only need to know 2 out of 3 values, PV, FV, and interest rate, I. The formula for single period investment is FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I. It's like putting money in the bank for 1 year and getting interest on the original amount. Multi-period investments last for more than one period, usually multiple years. There are 2 types, simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest pays interest only on the original amount, principal. Compound interest pays interest on the account balance, including interest earned in previous periods. Compound interest grows your money faster because it's like earning interest on top of interest. In summary, time value of money helps us understand that money today is more valuable than money in the future. Single period investments are for 1 year and use a simple formula to calculate future value. Multi-period investments last for several years and can have simple or compound interest. Compound interest grows your money faster over time compared to simple interest, making it a more popular choice for long-term investments. Think of the time value of money like this. Money you have today is more valuable than the same amount of money you'll get in the future. Imagine someone offers you $100 right now or $100 a year later. You probably choose the $100 now because you can use it immediately. That's because money today can grow and become more valuable over time. Time value of money helps us understand this concept in finance. 2. Mental models and analogies. Ice cream melting. Money today is like a scoop of ice cream that you can enjoy right away. But if you wait too long, like in the future, the ice cream melts and loses its value. Similarly, money's value can decrease over time due to inflation or missed investment opportunities. Money seeds. Imagine money as seeds you can plant today. If you plant them now, invest, they'll grow into a bigger tree with more fruits, higher value in the future. But if you wait and don't plant the seeds, you won't get as many fruits, less value, later. 3. Example exercises. You have $200 to invest, and the bank offers an interest rate of 5% per year. How much will your investment be worth after 1 year? Use the compound interest formula, FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I. Answer, FV equals $200 asterisk 1 plus 0.05 equals $210. Suppose you have $500 and you want to know how much it will be worth in 3 years with a 3% interest rate using simple interest. Calculate the future value. Answer, FV equals $500 asterisk 1 plus 0.03 asterisk 3 equals $545 for. Advantages and disadvantages. Advantages. Helps in making better financial decisions. Understanding the time value of money allows you to compare investment options and choose the most profitable one. Maximizes returns. By considering the time value, you can invest wisely and earn more money over time. Financial planning. It helps in setting long-term financial goals and planning for retirement or big purchases. Disadvantages. Complexity. The calculations might get complicated, especially for multi-period investments with compound interest. Inflation. Time value of money doesn't consider the impact of inflation, which can reduce the purchasing power of money over time. Assumptions. It assumes a constant interest rate, which may not always be accurate in real-life scenarios. Importance of knowing. Understanding the time value of money is crucial for anyone handling finances. It allows you to make informed decisions about investments, loans, savings, and budgeting. By considering the value of money over time, you can secure your financial future and achieve your goals. 15 key points about time value of money, TVM. Time value of money, TVM, is the idea that money you have now is worth more than the same amount in the future. Single period investment. When you invest money for just one period, usually 1 year, you can use the formula FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I to find the future value FV. Multi-period investment. If your investment lasts multiple years, you can use compound interest, where interest is added to the account balance each period. Discount rate. The interest rate, I, used to calculate the present value, PV, of future cash flows. It helps determine how much future money is worth today. Duration or number of periods represents the time frame of the investment, usually measured in years, T or N. Payment, the amount of money received or paid out in each period, not always present in every TVM problem. Present value, PV, The current value of future cash flows, found using the formula PV equals FV slash 1 plus I. Future value, FV. The value of money at a specific future point in time, calculated using FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I, or compound interest formula. Interest rate, I, the percentage that determines how much your money will grow or earn over time. Simple interest, when interest is only earned on the original investment, principal, each period. Rarely used in real-life scenarios. Compound interest, interest is earned on the total account balance, including interest from previous periods. More common and can lead to exponential growth. Example exercise. If you deposit $100 in a bank account with a 5% interest rate for 1 year, the future value would be $105 using simple interest and slightly more using compound interest. Importance of TVM. Helps in making smart financial decisions, comparing investments, and planning for the future. Inflation and TVM. TVM doesn't consider inflation, which affects the purchasing power of money over time. Assumptions of TVM. It assumes constant interest rates and predictable cash flows, which may not always hold true in real-life situations. Remember, the time value of money is a fundamental concept in finance, and understanding it can help you make better financial choices for your future. Imagine you have some money and you want to figure out how much it will be worth in the future if you invest it and it earns interest. This is where time value of money, TVM, comes into play. Interest matters. Interest is like a bonus for keeping your money in a bank or investment. It's the reason your money grows over time. Compound interest. Compound interest means your money earns interest not only on the initial amount, but also on the interest it earned in previous periods. It's like a snowball effect, where your money keeps growing faster and faster. Simple interest. Simple interest only pays interest on the original amount, PV. It doesn't include interest on interest earned in previous periods. Using the right formula. You need to use the correct formula depending on whether the interest is compound or simple. Make sure to identify the type of interest given in the problem. Consistent units. The interest rate and the number of periods must have consistent units. If the interest rate is per year, then the periods should be in years. If the interest rate is per month, the periods should be in months. Identifying future value, FV. To find FV, you should know PV, interest rate, I, and number of periods, T. You can use the compound interest formula or the simple interest formula accordingly. Moving the present. The present date can be moved based on what makes the problem easier to solve. Just remember that changing the present date affects the number of periods until the future for FV. Example exercise. What will be the FV of a $200 investment with a 6% annual interest rate for 5 years, assuming compound interest? Calculate FV using the formula. FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I caret understanding units. When calculating FV, it's essential to match the units of interest rate and periods. If the interest rate is per year, use the number of years for periods. Knowing the future value. Finding the FV is like looking into a crystal ball to see how much your money will grow in the future. It helps you make better financial decisions. Financial decision making. Calculating FV is crucial for planning your investments, loans, or savings. It shows you the potential growth and helps you choose the best options. Multiple loans example. When dealing with multiple loans, calculate the FV for each separately and then add them together to find the total future value. Real-life application. In real life, understanding FV helps you set financial goals, plan for retirement, and make wise investment choices to secure your financial future. By understanding these key points, you'll be better equipped to handle TVM calculations and make informed financial decisions for your future. Remember, practice is essential, so try solving different FV scenarios to gain confidence in this valuable financial skill. Imagine you're trying to figure out how much money will be worth in the future or how much money you need to invest today to reach a specific goal in the future. That's where the concept of time value of money, TVM, comes in. TVM has 5 important parts that help us with these calculations. Discount rate. This is like an interest rate, telling us how much more money we would pay to have it sooner. It represents the cost of not having the money today. Duration. This is the length of time that passes, like a year or a month, during which money grows or changes in value. Payment. The amount of money involved in the calculation, either money you invest or money you'll receive in the future. Present value, PV. This is the value of money today, which may be less than what it will be worth in the future due to the discount rate. Future value, FV. The value of money in the future after accounting for the interest or growth. For simple investments that last only one period, like 1 year, finding the present value, PV, is easy. You just divide the future value, FV, by 1 plus the interest rate, I. This gives you an idea of how much the money is worth today, considering the interest rate. However, things get a bit more complex when we consider multi-period investments, which last for several periods, years for example. In such cases, the interest rate compounds, meaning the interest from one period gets added to the future value and then used to calculate the next period's interest. This creates exponential growth over time, making it important to calculate the average rate of return over the investment's lifetime. In summary, the time value of money helps us understand how money's worth changes over time due to interest rates and the passage of time. It's crucial for making informed financial decisions, whether for single or multi-period investments. By knowing the present value and future value, we can make better choices about investing our money wisely. Let's break down the time value of money, TVM, concept. The time machine analogy. Imagine you have a magical time machine that allows you to travel to the future and back. When you go to the future, you notice that things cost more than they do now. This is because the value of money changes over time due to interest rates. So, if you want to buy something in the future, you need to know how much money you should have now to afford it later. That's the present value, PV, and future value, FV calculations in TVM. The snowball analogy for compound interest. Think of your money as a snowball rolling down a hill. As it goes down, it picks up more snow, interest, and becomes bigger and bigger. In TVM, this is compound interest. The longer the snowball rolls, more periods, the more snow, interest, it accumulates. In multi-period investments, the interest keeps adding up over time, making your money grow faster. Now, let's try some example exercises. Exercise 1. Calculate the future value of $500 if you invest it for 5 years with a 7% interest rate, expressed as 0.07. Solution. Using the formula FV equals PV asterisk, 1 plus I caret and FV equals $500 asterisk, 1 plus 0.07 caret 5 FV $644.92. Exercise 2. Calculate the present value of $2,000 you want to receive after 3 years with a discount rate of 5%, expressed as 0.05. Solution. Using the formula PV equals FV slash 1 plus I caret and PV equals $2,000 slash 1 plus 0.05 caret 3 PV $1,727.50. Advantages of TVM. Helps you make informed financial decisions by considering the time value of money. Allows you to compare different investment opportunities and choose the most profitable one. Helps you plan for future expenses and savings more effectively. Disadvantages of TVM. Assumes a constant interest rate, which may not always be the case in real-world scenarios. Doesn't consider other factors like inflation or changes in economic conditions that can impact the value of money. Can be more complex when dealing with multi-period investments and compound interest. Why is this important to know? Understanding TVM is crucial for making smart financial decisions. It helps you know how much your money will be worth in the future, how much you need to invest now to reach a financial goal, and which investment option is the most profitable. By knowing the time value of money, you can make better choices about spending, saving, and investing your money to secure your financial future. 15 key points to understand in depth about time value of money, TVM. TVM is about money's changing value. It's the idea that money's worth changes over time due to interest rates and the passage of time. 5 components of TVM. These are essential elements in TVM calculations: discount rate, duration, number of periods, payment, present value, PV, and future value, FV. Single period investment. It involves just one period, like 1 year. PV equals FV slash 1 plus I, where I is the interest rate. Importance of single period. It helps understand the value of money today compared to its worth in the future. Interest rate. It's a percentage that represents the cost of not having money for one period or the return on an investment per year. Present value, PV. It's the worth of money today. taking into account the interest rate and time. Future value FV. It's the value of money in the future after considering interest and time. Defining multi-period investments. These investments have multiple periods, years for example. Compound interest. Interest that accumulates over time as it gets added to the future value, making your money grow faster. Dollar today versus tomorrow. A dollar today is more valuable than a dollar tomorrow due to TVM. Average rate of return, a way to calculate the cumulative return over the investment's lifetime. Understanding single-period investments, the future value is just the present value plus the interest applied once. Understanding multi-period investments, interest compounds over time, leading to exponential growth. Graphical representation. Graphs can show the present discounted value of money over several years with different interest rates. Importance of TVM. It helps make better financial decisions, plan for the future, and compare investment opportunities. Keep these key points in mind, and you'll have a solid understanding of time value of money and its significance in financial decision-making. When you're dealing with money, it's essential to understand the concept of time value of money, TVM. TVM helps you figure out how much money today is worth in the future and vice versa. There are 5 important parts to TVM that we need to know about: discount rate, duration, or number of periods, payment, present value, and future value. Discount rate. Imagine you have some money and you want to know what it will be worth in the future. The discount rate is like a magic number that helps you find out how much that future money is worth in today's terms. It takes into account different costs like opportunity cost, inflation, risk, and other expenses. Duration, number of periods. This is just the length of time during which interest accrues. It could be any fixed period, like a month or a year. The number of periods is important because it affects how much your money grows or shrinks over time. Payment. This is any amount of money you receive or pay out at a specific time. It could be an investment you make, a loan you take, or any regular income or expense. Present value, PV. This is the value of some amount of money in today's terms. It's what you would have to invest or pay now to get a certain amount of money in the future, considering the discount rate and the duration. Future value, FV. On the other hand, this is the worth of money at some point in the future. It's what you'll have after investing or saving some money for a given period, considering the discount rate. Now, when it comes to calculating TVM, there's a formula you can use. PV equals FV slash 1 plus I caret, and here, I is the discount rate, and N is the number of periods. For example, let's say you expect to receive $1,000 in 1 year, and the discount rate is 5%. Using the formula, you can find that the present value, what it's worth today, of that $1,000 is $952.38. These concepts are crucial for making financial decisions, like when you want to save or invest money, or when you're taking out a loan. Understanding TVM helps you see how much your money can grow over time and helps you make smart choices with your finances. Let's break down the topic of time value of money, TVM, mental model. Time machine for money. Think of TVM as a time machine for money. It helps you figure out how much money from the future is worth in today's terms and vice versa. The discount rate is like the ticket price for using the time machine. It tells you how much you need to discount or reduce the future money to know its value in the present. Analogy: money roller coaster. Imagine money as a roller coaster ride. The future value is the highest point the roller coaster reaches, representing how much your money grows over time. The present value is like the starting point of the roller coaster, telling you how much money you need to have today to reach the same height in the future. The discount rate is like the speed of the roller coaster. The faster it goes, the lower the starting point, present value, needs to be. Practice exercises. A. You expect to receive $500 in 2 years, and the discount rate is 8%. Calculate the present value of that money. Present value, PV, equals $500 slash 1 plus 0.08 caret to $430.56 B. If you invest $1,000 today and the interest rate is 6%, what will be the future value of your investment after 3 years? Future value, FV, equals $1,000 asterisk 1 plus 0.06 caret 3 $1,191.02 advantages and disadvantages of TVM. Understanding TVM is essential for making smart financial decisions. Here's why. Advantages: helps you compare the value of money at different points in time, enables you to make informed choices about investments and loans, allows you to plan for the future and set realistic financial goals. Disadvantages: TVM calculations can be complex and may require some math skills. It assumes a constant discount rate, which may not always reflect real-world situations. Ignoring TVM can lead to making poor financial decisions that don't consider the impact of time on money. Overall, knowing TVM empowers you to manage your money wisely, make better financial choices, and secure a more stable financial future. 15 key points you should know in depth when studying the topic of time value of money, TVM. Time value of money, TVM. TVM is the idea that money has different values at different times, and it's essential to consider this when making financial decisions. Discount rate. The discount rate is like a magic number that helps us find the value of future money in today's terms. It represents the cost or interest rate used to decrease future cash flows to their present value. Components of the discount rate. The discount rate includes opportunity cost, liquidity cost, risk, and inflation, which are the costs associated with investing or borrowing money. Present value, PV. PV is the value of money today or the amount we need to invest now to get a certain amount in the future, considering the discount rate. Future value, FV. FV is the value of money in the future after it has grown due to interest or investment. Discounting. Discounting is the process of finding the present value of a future sum of money. Importance of TVM. TVM helps us make better financial decisions, plan for the future, and compare different investment or loan options. Opportunity cost. It's the cost of not being able to spend the money now because it's invested or loaned out. Inflation. Inflation reduces the purchasing power of money over time, so the same amount of money buys less in the future. Risk. There's a chance that we might not get our money back, especially if it's a bad investment or the debtor defaults. Liquidity. Investing or lending money reduces our liquidity, which means we might not have immediate access to the money. Number of periods, N, and represents the length of time during which interest accrues. It can be any fixed period, like a month or a year. Formula for calculations. The formula to find the present value of a future payment is PV equals FV/1 plus I keratin, where I is the discount rate and is the number of periods. Simple interest versus compound interest. Simple interest is rarely used and only calculates interest on the initial amount, while compound interest includes interest on previous interest. Relationship between PV and FV. As the discount rate increases, the present value decreases, and vice versa. The longer the time between the present and the future, the higher the future value, assuming the discount rate is constant. Understanding these key points will help you grasp the concept of TVM and its significance in financial decision-making. It's an essential tool for managing money and planning for the future effectively. Let's break down the topic of effective annual rate, EAR, and time value of money, TVM. Imagine you have some money in a bank account and the bank gives you extra money as interest. But here's the catch. The interest can be calculated in different ways, like once a year, once a month, or even continuously. When interest is calculated more frequently, it affects how much money you'll actually earn in a year. The effective annual rate, EAR, helps us figure out how much interest you'll truly earn in a year, taking into account the different ways interest is calculated. It's like a better measure of how much your money grows each year. When we want to find out how much money we'll have in the future or how much money we should have received in the past, we use the future value, FV, and present value, PV formulas. These formulas take into account the interest rate and how many times interest is calculated per year. The formula to find the EAR is a bit complicated, but it's important for making accurate calculations. If you want to find the future value or present value with different compounding periods, we have a formula for that too. When dealing with partial time periods, like finding the value of your money at a specific date between two interest calculation points, it gets a bit trickier. But for most cases, you can still use the regular formulas to find future and present values, even if you have fractional time periods. The main thing to remember is that the EAR is a better way to understand how much interest you'll actually earn in a year, and you can use it to make more accurate calculations when dealing with different compounding periods. I'll break down the topic and provide some mental models and analogies to help you understand and remember it better. Understanding effective annual rate, EAR. Think of your money in a bank account as a little plant. The interest is like water that helps your plant grow. The effective annual rate, EAR, is like a special way to measure how much water your plant is actually getting each year, taking into account how often you water it. Mental model. Plant growth and watering frequency. Imagine you have two plants, and you water one of them every day, while the other one gets watered only once a week. The plant that gets watered every day will grow more, right? That's because it's getting water more frequently. Similarly, when you deposit money in an account, the interest can compound daily, monthly, or annually. The more frequently it compounds, the higher the effective annual rate, EAR, will be. Example exercise. Let's say you have $1,000 in an account with 6% interest that compounds quarterly, 4 times a year. Calculate the effective annual rate, EAR, for this account. Answer: I, nominal interest rate, equals 6% or 0.06 as a decimal, and compounding periods per year equals 4 quarterly. Now, use the formula for EAR. EAR equals 1 plus I slash and keratin. 1 EAR equals 1 plus 0.64 caret 4 to 10614 or 6.14%. So, the effective annual rate for this account is approximately 6.14%. Advantages and importance. The advantage of knowing the effective annual rate is that it gives you a more accurate understanding of how much your money will grow in a year, especially when interest compounds multiple times during the year. It helps you make better financial decisions and compare different investment options. The disadvantage is that calculating EAR can be a bit more complex compared to just using the nominal interest rate. However, understanding EAR is crucial when dealing with investments and loans to know the actual growth or cost involved. Knowing about compounding periods is important because it affects how fast your money grows. By understanding the different compounding frequencies, you can make smarter decisions about where to invest your money to maximize its growth over time. Remember, just like watering your plant regularly helps it grow faster, choosing accounts with higher compounding frequency can make your money grow faster too. And now, with the concept of EAR, you can see how much your money is really growing each year, like a pro gardener. 15 key points you should know about the topic of effective annual rate, EAR, and time value of money, TVM. EAR accounts for how often interest is added to your money during the year. It gives you a more accurate interest rate than the nominal rate. The units of time in the interest rate and the compounding period must match. For example, if it's a 7% interest rate per year, the compounding must be done yearly. When interest is compounded more than once a year, the EAR will be higher than the nominal interest rate. The equation for EAR allows us to find the actual interest rate that accumulates per year, considering multiple compounding periods. Future value, FV, is the worth of money at a specific date in the future, assuming a certain interest rate. Present value, PV, is the value of a payment or series of payments made at other times, discounted to reflect the time value of money. Sometimes, the number of periods doesn't match the interest rate units. To solve this, you can adjust one period to match the other. Converting an interest rate into an annual rate is not as simple as multiplying by the number of compounding periods. We need to use EAR. The formula for EAR with continuous compounding allows us to find the interest rate when it compounds continuously. The TIBA2 Plus calculator can help calculate the EAR for interest that compounds more than once per year. The formula for FV with periodic compounding helps find the future value given the present value, nominal interest rate, compounding periods, and time. To find the number of compounding periods, N, needed to reach a certain future value, use the equation involving logarithms. Fractional time periods can affect the balance of an account. Pay attention to whether interest was paid or not. For future or present value calculations, you can use fractional time periods, but for account balance, round down to the nearest compounding period. Understanding EAR and TVM is crucial for making wise financial decisions, comparing investment opportunities, and planning for the future. In summary, EAR helps us find the true interest rate considering multiple compounding periods, and TVM allows us to compare the value of money at different points in time. Knowing these concepts is essential for financial planning and decision-making. Imagine you have some money, and you want to know how much it will be worth in the future or how much it's worth today. This is important because it helps you make smart financial decisions. There are 5 important things we need to consider. Discount rate. This is like an interest rate. It tells us how much our money will grow or shrink over time. A higher discount rate means more growth, and a lower one means less growth. Duration. This is the time period for which we want to know the future or present value of our money. It could be a year, a month, or any other time frame. Payment. This is the amount of money you're either putting in or taking out over time. It's like your deposits or withdrawals. Present value, PV. This tells us how much our future money is worth in today's terms. It helps us see how valuable our money is right now. Future value, FV. This is the amount of money we'll have in the future after accounting for the growth or shrinkage based on the discount rate. Now, calculating the present value, PV, involves combining all these components. We first need to figure out if the interest on our money is simple or compound. Most of the time, it's compound, which means we earn interest on both the original amount and the interest we've already earned. If it's simple interest, we use a formula to find the PV. If it's compound interest, we use a different formula to calculate the PV. To find the PV, we need to know the future value, FV, the interest rate, discount rate, and the number of periods. Once we have these 3 things, we can plug them into the appropriate formula. Usually, the interest compounds unless stated otherwise. It's important to make sure the units for the interest rate and the number of periods are consistent. For example, if the interest rate is given as X% per year, and we want to find the PV for an investment that lasts for 24 months, we need to convert months to years in equals 2 before plugging the values into the formula. Now, when comparing different interest rates for loans or investments, we can't just look at the nominal values, the rates given without considering other factors. We also need to consider the effective annual rate, EAR, which accounts for how interest compounds over time. This gives us a more accurate picture of how much we'll actually earn or pay. Another thing to consider is inflation, which makes the value of money decrease over time. We use the Fisher equation to find the real interest rate after accounting for inflation. This helps us understand how much our money will really grow or shrink in terms of purchasing power. Lastly, when deciding on an investment, we need to check if the interest rate is higher than our cost of capital. The cost of capital is the minimum return we expect to earn on an investment with a similar level of risk. If the expected return on an investment is lower than the cost of capital, it's probably not a good investment choice. So by considering all these components, we can make informed financial decisions and make our money work for us. Let's break down the topic of time value of money, TVM, and its components in simple terms and use some mental models to understand it better. Time value of money, TVM. Imagine you have a magical wallet that can turn a small amount of money into a bigger amount over time. TVM is like understanding how much that small amount is worth in the future or today. Components of TVM. Future value, FV. This is like looking into your magical wallet to see how much money you'll have in the future if you put some money there now. Present value, PV. This is the opposite. It's like figuring out how much money you should put into your magical wallet now so that it becomes a specific amount in the future. Interest rate, discount rate. Think of this as the magic growth rate of your money in the wallet. It determines how fast your money will grow or how much it will shrink over time. Duration, time. This is simply how long you want to leave your money in the magical wallet. Payment. If you're putting money in or taking it out of the wallet regularly, this is the amount you're putting in or taking out. Mental Model 1. Magical Money Tree. Think of TVM like having a magical money tree in your backyard. You can plant some money, PV, in the ground, and over time, it grows into a bigger money tree, FV, because of the magic growth rate, interest rate. The duration is how long you'll let it grow, and the payment is how much money you add or take from the tree. Mental Model 2. Time Travel Wallet. Imagine you have a special wallet that can transport money through time. You can put money in the wallet today, PV, and set a date in the future when you'll open the wallet to see how much it grew, FV. The interest rate is like the time travel speed, determining how much your money changes during the journey. Quick example exercise. Let's say you have $100, PV, and want to see how much it will be in 5 years, FV, with an annual interest rate of 8%. Step 1. Identify the variables. PV equals $100, FV, what we want to find, interest rate, discount rate, equals 8%, duration, time, equals 5 years. Step 2. Use the formula. FV equals PV asterisk 1 plus I keratin, where I is the interest rate, and it is the number of periods, years in this case. Step 3. Plug in the values and calculate FV equals $100 asterisk 1 plus 0.08, caret, 5 $146.93. Advantages of TVM. Helps in making better financial decisions by comparing the value of money at different times. Allows you to plan for the future and understand the potential growth of investments. Disadvantages of TVM. It assumes constant interest rates, which may not be realistic in the real world. It doesn't account for unexpected events or changes in the economy. Importance of TVM. Understanding TVM is crucial in personal finance and business decisions. It helps you know how much your money is worth over time, compare investment opportunities, and plan for long-term financial goals. Remember, just like magic, TVM can seem a bit tricky at first, but with practice and these mental models, you'll become a master at understanding the value of money over time. 15 key points to know in depth about time value of money, TVM, and its related concepts. Time value of money, TVM. It's the idea that money's worth changes over time due to interest or inflation. Components of TVM. 5 key components are involved in TVM calculations: discount rate, duration, time, payment, present value, PV, and future value, FV. Present value, PV. It's the worth of a future sum of money in today's terms, considering a specific interest rate, discount rate. Future value, FV. It's the value of money at a specified future time, taking into account the interest rate. Simple interest. Interest is only calculated on the original amount, principal, and you don't earn interest on previously earned interest. Compound interest. Interest is calculated on both the original amount and any previously earned interest. Consistent units. The interest rate and number of periods should have matching time units, EG, both in years. Calculating PV. You find PV by plugging FV, interest rate, and number of periods into an equation. Time periods, N, represented as the number of years or periods involved in the calculation. Effective annual rate, year. It's the actual interest rate accrued due to compounding, accounting for multiple compounding periods in a year. Fisher equation. It calculates the real interest rate by adjusting for inflation. Real interest rate equals nominal interest rate, expected inflation rate. Importance of TVM. TVM helps in comparing different financial options, understanding investments' worth over time, and making better financial decisions. Inflation. It's an increase in the general level of prices or cost of living, affecting the purchasing power of money over time. Cost of capital. The rate of return a company expects to earn on investments of equivalent risk. Investments should ideally have returns higher than the cost of capital. Practical application. TVM is used in various financial decisions such as loan calculations, investment evaluations, retirement planning, and determining the profitability of projects. Understanding TVM is crucial for managing personal finances, making wise investments, and evaluating business opportunities. By grasping these key points, you'll be well equipped to handle TVM calculations and financial planning with confidence. Imagine you're about to make some important financial decisions, like buying a house or taking a loan. To make smart choices, you need to understand the time value of money, TVM, and amortization. Time value of money means that money's worth changes over time. For example, $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow because you can invest it and make more money. So when you borrow money and have to pay it back with interest, you'll end up paying more than the original amount due to this time value.